Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's morning here. Well, it's just turned lunchtime. It's live chat 104 here, Brooks's Bass Corner, come to you live from London town here in the UK. Hope you're safe and well. Hope everything is good. Hope your bass playing's going great. I just need to check that everything is working because I've been really rushed this morning. Literally just got back from a dog walk and I've plugged everything up. It looks like everything's working, but I need to check. So just bear with me 2 seconds. It was a late night last night, got in from a gig very late, minimal sleep. It's all going on. Just bear with me 2 seconds, gang. I just need to check that the analytics are working. And here we go. Let's just check that the stream is healthy. Where are you? Q, and we are going to... Bear with me. Here we go. 104. Check your analytics, Mike. Check that the stream is healthy. That's what we're doing. I need to make sure it's working or we go off. It's happened before. I'll chat away for half an hour and then realise it's not working. No, looks like it's good. Stream is healthy. Excellent. It's all working. Great. Good start. Seamless here on Brooks's Bass Corner. It's seamless. So, live chat 104 here, Brooks's Bass Corner, come to you live from London town. Westfort, good to see you. Hope that status King Bass is doing you well. Bill Derbyshire, good afternoon. Westfort, it's working. Fabulous. That's all I can ask. Excellent. So the reason we're starting early today at midday instead of 2 o'clock is I am out the door literally as soon as we finish this live chat. I've got an Uncle Funk show at the Drill Hall in Ware in Hertfordshire. So last night I was with Supersonic Queen down at St. Peter's Church in Poole in Dorset down the south coast. We had an absolute blast. Now, highly unlikely that anyone that was at that show is watching this live chat. No one would know, unless you know me, that this live chat even happens. But if any of the band are watching, morning and afternoon, gents. Hope you're well. Hope you had a good sleep. They're off to Wales today to do another gig. I'm with Uncle Funk up at the Drill Hall in Ware, so disco classics abound. I'll be getting my black lycra and feathered headpiece on. That'll be a vlog. Last night's gig will be a vlog as well. Got some great footage from last night's show, I have to say. I've had a quick look at the video footage this morning, and it was like, wow, okay, we did that. Okay. So Uncle Funk tonight, we sell out at the Drill Hall. We always have a good gig there. The audience are fab. I have no reason to believe that tonight isn't going to be off the charts. So that'll be another vlog. And then tomorrow, so I get back late tonight, get up in the morning, and I've got the not so leisurely drive all the way down to Loo in Plymouth, which is about a 5 hour drive. 5 mile drive, I wish. 5 hours. It's about 230 miles. And I was told we had to be there at 4 o'clock tomorrow. I thought, okay, and we were on at 9 o'clock, and it's all fine and great, and we got accommodation provided, great. And then just before I left the gig last night to drive home, I get a message to say, oh no, we need to be there at 3. So I've got to leave an hour earlier. So literally, I'm going to get in from a gig tonight, sleep, wake up, shower, out the door by 10 a.m. tomorrow. So it's all go. Busy old weekend. I said this last week on the live chat. I knew this weekend was going to be busy. That's also why there's been no long form content up this week. I've done a couple of shorts that have gone out and done very well. But no long form content this week because everything has just snowballed. Life, getting prepped for these gigs, all the other bits and bobs, keeping the YouTube channel going, getting the shorts done. I literally was about an hour away from getting a video uploaded on Thursday night and just ran out of time. And there was no time yesterday. I was out the door yesterday at 11:30. So it's been a little chaotic. So this is kind of what happens during the summer months, which is why the live chats from April the 1st are going to be reverting back to Tuesdays, not on Saturdays, because trying to shoehorn a live chat into a Saturday, once we get into summer, invariably between 12 and 4, I'm driving. And there's no way I can hold a live chat while I'm driving, because I'm not going to be able to see and react to your messages. And it'll just be me whittering on, which isn't really a live chat. That's a long form content. So for those who aren't aware, from the 1st of April, live chats will revert back to Tuesday nights. So the last Saturday live chat, I think, is the 29th of March. And then the first Tuesday live chat will be on the 1st of April. So come and join us back on the old live chat slot. So it'll be from 8 p.m. UK time. I know it's a pain in the backside for you guys in the US. If you can join us, fabulous. If not, watch on catch up. You know where the live chats are on the channel. And but what this does mean is that if I do a live chat on a Tuesday, I can give you an impromptu live chat when I'm at the gig on Saturday. So you're going to get 2 hits of it. It's all dependent on the mobile internet reception that I get on my phone, or if we're at a venue and there's Wi-Fi, even better. But that's what you're going to get. So there'll be a regular scheduled live chat on Tuesday, and they'll hopefully, fingers crossed, as often as I can on Saturdays, we'll do an impromptu live chat from the gig that I'm at. So you'll get two slabs of Brooksy. How about that? A Brooksy bonus, if you will. Stacey Ann, North Carolina, good to see you. Good morning. Hope you're well. I just need a quick drink. So I hope you're all safe and well out there. I hope your bass playing's going great. Keith Doherty, shout out for you. I replied to your message. Keith emailed me the other day. He was looking at a Squire 70s bass on Thomann, and he wanted to buy it. Couldn't see it in my Brooksy's Bass Corner store, of course. Very sensibly, dropped me an email. I want to buy this bass, or I'm considering buying this bass. Can you add it to your shop, please? So I did. And I replied to you yesterday. Hopefully you got the email back. So it's in there, and there's a bunch of other Squires as well. So if any of you are looking to buy any bass-related gear, you want to buy it through Thomann or Amazon, I can add items to the shop. If you go to the Brooksy's Bass Corner storefront, you find links in the description box. Either for Amazon or for Thomann. If the item you want isn't in there, email me at brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. Ticker's running along the bottom of the screen, of course. Tell me what you're after. I can add it to the store, and then you can help the channel. You don't get a discount on what the advertised price is, of course, but you help the channel. We get a little affiliate commission from the retailer, and that helps to keep channel going. Westford, King Bass is doing okay. Excellent. Steph is there. Good to see you. Hope you're well. Hope that bass practice is going well. John Cooper, hi, Mike and all. Let's stick this up on the screen. Hope everyone's well. Just quick hello. I'm currently out walking the dog. I've just done ours. Mike, I'm coming to see you and Uncle Funky. Where to? John, then you've got to come and say hello. Message me when you're there. I don't know why you bought tickets. You should have asked me. I'd have put you on the guest list for free. We've got Jerry Blair coming tonight. Jerry will probably pop up on the live chat a little later. He's coming tonight. He's on the guest list. John, the way music works, okay? If you've got friends in high places and you're going to see a gig, you don't pay for the ticket, okay? You let me know and just say, we're coming to your show, and I'll just put you on the guest list. It's free. I'll buy you a drink, and thank you for coming. But hope you have a great night. We're going to have a blast. So if you come earlier, which you might not want to do, but if you come earlier, you can come and watch Soundcheck if you want. After that, if there's time, we go out and get food, or our band leader might order food in which case, if that happens, I'm going to be sort of strolling around the venue. So either come and find me or just message me, email me, brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. As soon as I get the email, I'll come out, I'll come and see you. Doors open, I think, at 7:30. We're on at 8:30. We're doing 8:30 to 9:30, 10 till 11. But again, if you're coming to see, right, okay, if you're bringing guests with you, John, you probably don't want to come until the doors open at 7:30. But if you're coming on your own and you just want the the hang, then let me know. Come to sound check. I'll plonk you down on a chair, or you can stand my side of the stage and we can natter away. You can watch sound check, and then if we've got time to go and get food, we go and get food. And if you want to come out with us, great. And if you don't, that's fine. This gig for us is famous because every time we play here, we literally run our sound check right up until the moment the doors open. And then there's no time to go and get food, which is why on the past couple of gigs, we've got the band leader to order food in because we've got no time to go and get anything. How tonight will pan out, who knows? I don't know. Until we get there, no one knows. So that can go one or two ways, but that's cool. I can see you've messaged us. I'm just going to run down the messages. Keith Doherty, yep, got the reply, bought yesterday. You are a lovely man. Well done, Keith Doherty. Thank you for that affiliate commission. Super stuff. Stacey Ann, John Cooper, you lucky dog. Give us a review next Tuesday. Tonight, John, feel free to film anything you want. Send me the footage. I'll incorporate it into my gig vlog. Very rarely on gigs that I actually get an audience's perspective. I'm so engrossed in the show. Occasionally on Uncle Funk shows, members of the public will post stuff up onto the band page, and then I can sort of download it and incorporate it. But anything you film tonight, I'll incorporate into it. Brooksy, get a pic with John and Jerry tonight. I will do that. John, wasn't sure I could make it. Okay, but didn't want to deny you the ticket price. Get off. Don't worry. Yes, see you tonight. Hopefully my wife is in time. In two, I guess you mean. To be confirmed. That's fine. If your wife hasn't got a ticket and she wants to come, then let me know and I'll put you on the guest list. It's fine. But for future reference, you ever want to come to an Uncle Funk show, you get him for free. All right. You don't pay for tickets. You get him for free. That's how this business works. So in tow, even. How about that? Yes. Well, you'll get there in a minute. Clearly the typing's gone awry at John's end today. You feel how I feel on a lack of sleep. But yes, and I'll reiterate it for anyone watching this live chat. Through the summer, we do loads of festival shows and stuff. Sometimes we play festivals and the ticket price is a little steep, but it's like a weekend thing, or it might be a whole day event or whatever. If you know we're playing, if you know Uncle Funk are playing, or I mention a gig with another band, maybe one of the Queen bands or the ABBA bands or whatever that I play with, if you want to come, as long as you let me know in advance. Sometimes you can do it on the day. Sometimes I can only arrange stuff on the day when we get to the gig. But if you let me know, email me at brooksy'spacecorner@gmail.com, or if you have my personal phone number or email or whatever, let me know. If you let me know in advance, I can automatically put you on the band guest list, like way in advance, and you're guaranteed. But friends of Brooksy's Bass Corner don't pay for tickets. That's the perk of you following the channel and interacting on the live chats and watching the videos. You don't pay for tickets, okay? That's the way it works. Welcome to the music business. So anything I ever advertise, gig-wise, performance-wise, you want to come, you let me know in advance. I'll sort it out. That's the way it works, okay? Yeah, so tonight is going to be a blast. We haven't done an Uncle Funk show for about 6-7 weeks. But everyone's ready to go. All I've seen on the band chat all week is can't wait for Saturday. Can't wait for Saturday. Need to play. Need to be out there doing it. So we're going to have an absolute blast. Haven't decided on the weapons of choice yet. I think the Bootsy bass is coming out tonight. And then what's going with that, I still haven't decided. And yet I'm going out. As soon as this live chat finishes, I'm in the car and off. So it's a toss-up between a GB, Empathy, Status Empathy. I may take the Alembic Persuader. We'll see. I was even toying with taking one of the other Alembics with me, but I just know this venue tends to get a bit tight on stage, and I don't want to be banging the Alembics about, headstocks getting dinged and bashed all over the shop. Betsy might make an appearance. And there's also, I was considering taking out my Spectre. So we'll see. When we get to the end of this live chat, it'll be basses in gig bags and off we go. So I'll leave it as a surprise. You won't know what's coming out. John, is there a support? No, there isn't. It's just us. What time are we on? 8:30. Doors open at 7:30. We're doing roughly 2 1-hour sets, so it might be a 55-minute set. First one, and then the second one will be a little bit longer, but it's roughly 2 1 hours. We finish at 11. So doors open 7:30, on at 8:30, finish at 11. We do 8:30 to 9:30, half-hour break, 10 till 11. Bring your dancing shoes, John. Everyone gets up on the dance floor, and actually I don't remember there being any seating around the edges. There might be, but there might not be. If you go onto the Uncle Funk page on Facebook, in fact, if you follow us on Instagram, you'll see various posts from previous drill hall shows, and literally within about 30 seconds of the first song, the whole dance floor is full. So it's a good night. It's a good night. We're going to have an absolute blast. I can't wait. West Fort, I'd love to come to one of your gigs, but I'm quite far away. Yes, you are. But if you ever visit London, if you're over here, let me know. I'll give you a list of the gigs that I've got with all the different bands I play with, and you're more than welcome to come along. Vissol, good to see you. Welcome. Lovely to have you along. So today's kind of topic of conversation, it's a bit of a free-for-all. We're on a slightly reduced time limit today because I've got to get out the door. I think we're going to run till about 2:30. So we will see how we go. I just need to send an invite to young Jamie, although I think this is going to be way too early for him to be getting up over there in Nashville. Where are we? Spare me a moment. We want Brooksy Space Corner. There we go. And we'll send that to him. Where is he? Here we are. And we'll just reply to that. And there's your invite. If you wake up in time. I think we'll catch him out today. I don't think he'll be up in time, but there we are. He might be. You never know. So it's been all go here. Yesterday was not frantic. It was okay. I'd done all my prep. So, as I said at the top of the show, it's I did Supersonic Queen yesterday, which is a band I've never played with before, but obviously I'm playing Queen tributes. And I know, I mean, I've worked with the drummer before COVID, and we did some Queen gigs with a different Queen band. Worked with the guitarist before. Had never worked with the keyboard player, but we've been in touch for like 5 years, going back to COVID times. And he offers me gigs all the time, but usually they clash with other stuff I'm doing at weekends. The singer, he and I actually had a very long phone conversation in June 2020, slap bang in the middle of COVID. And he was at the time a solo Freddie, and he was looking to do a Queen tribute band. We'd just gone into COVID. No one knew when we were getting out, if we were getting out. There was no vaccine. And we were having a chat about putting a Queen band together. And at the time, he wanted me to, oh, you sound perfect for it. I was like, great, okay, great. He said, but I need you to commit to it. And I was like, well, I can't do that. How could we don't even know we're ever going to get out again. I said, but also I've kind of committed to Uncle Funk, and I've got a few other things that I do. And I said, I'm probably not going to be able to do that. I said, I'll do as much as I can. Anyway, when came out of COVID, he'd set the band up with these other guys, and I mean, they're doing amazing stuff. They've got over 100 gigs this year, which is great for a Queen tribute. And they're flying. But I'd never played with them. So when I got asked a couple of weeks ago, can you do this bunch of shows? I was like, yeah, great. Send me the stuff through. But I had to kind of relearn a lot of the songs that I do. They play everything quite up-tempo, which isn't a bad thing. And there's a couple of medleys in there. A couple of arrangements were slightly different than the versions I play with the other band. So had to get my head around that. And obviously tomorrow I've got to put my different Queen hat on for the band I regularly play with. And remember that I'm not on Supersonic song arrangements. So But anyway, it was a great gig. We were playing in St. Peter's Hall. They looked after us fabulously. Audience were outstanding. And the whole show was really, really great. Really enjoyed it. And some songs in there that I don't normally play. Don't normally play Bicycle Race. Occasionally we do Seven Seas of Rye, but don't do that all that often. What else was in there? There was a couple of others, but anyway, it was a lot of fun. We had an absolute blast. John Cooper, gotta go. Finished the dog walk. See you this evening. Look forward to it. I'll tell you what I'll bring, John. I'll bring the Empathy anyway, so you can have a look and appreciate its wares. Being a Status fan, of course. I'll bring the Empathy and probably 2 other basses. So there we go. We can have a bass corner. A Brooks's bass corner. There you go. On the gig. How about that? I look forward to seeing you, John. We'll have a good old natter later. Yeah, so this week, once I get this weekend out of the way, I've got Supersonic Queen again next Friday. Get the days right, Mike. Then we've got live chat next Saturday afternoon at 2 o'clock. And then Sunday, we've got the Uncle Funk's Decades of Dance rehearsal, because we've got a gig coming up in April. We haven't run that show since October. Got a recording, full show recording of the show that we did in October a couple of days ago. God, we sounded good. I have to say, we were seriously on fire, but that's what a good lot of rehearsal does for you. Focusing people's minds on a new show. Everyone was really on point, so that was great. So, but we haven't done it since October. So we've got a nice long rehearsal next week, probably 8 hours, I'd imagine. And then the gig in April, second week of April. So that's my week next week. Gonna be in the workshop on Monday, restringing the remaining basses. Got to get those videos out to you as well as the gig vlogs. And I've got to get my pedal board sorted because I need it all ready for next week's rehearsal. So that, I've been promising that video for so long. But the board won't have changed since I last did the Decades of Dance gig that we did in October. So all those pedals are still on there. I just haven't secured them down and secured all the cabling and the power supply. So I'll do that video this week. And if I get time to edit it, I'll get it up this week. Because I might even do a bit of recording at the rehearsal next week. So you can see how I use all those sounds, use those pedals for the different songs. So any of you that have followed what I've been doing on the channel regarding Decades of Dance, I'm covering 5 decades of dance music, loads of different bass tones. And originally I was going to take like 4 or 5 basses on the gig. And when it actually came to it, doing the rehearsals and the show, I only needed 2, neither of which were 5-string. And I ended up using the 4-string Music Man Stingray and a GB Rumor. I may rethink the Rumor, but the Stingray needs to stay because so many of those songs were recorded with Stingrays anyway. But again, we had to get that show ready super quick. And maybe I glossed over some of the tonality of what I needed. But anyway, the pedal board basically gave me a lot of the sounds rather than taking like a whole bunch of basses and then constantly changing bass after each song. We have a couple of medleys in that show where if I had to keep swapping over basses, it just wouldn't work because you can't do it in the middle of a medley and the songs literally go bang, 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 bang. There's no gaps. So the effects board kind of relieves me of all of that grief. And I can just kick the sounds in. It's just great. It works for me. Westfort, maybe going to London this summer. Excellent. Well, if you're coming over, give me sort of a heads up in advance and we'll meet up. No problem. And like I say, if we've got some gigs and you can come to them, then great. DL42, good to see you. Do I ever get to Cardiff? Has been known. Swansea, yes, has been known. Last year, second half of last year, I did loads of gigs in Wales with different bands, Queen bands, ABBA bands. I don't think Uncle Funk did a Wales gig last year. I don't think so. Although we get very close to the Welsh border. We played at Richard Hammond's pad last year, and we're doing another show for them in the summer, in July. So we're not that far from Wales. But on that sort of South Wales part, I'd have to look in the diary, see what I've got coming up. I don't know there's anything immediately coming up in the next month or two in Wales, I don't think. But what tends to happen, certainly with one of the Queen bands I play with, they get gigs at short notice, and they tend to be the Welsh ones for some reason. So for whatever reason, the venues or the people that book at short notice. I'll keep you posted. I will keep you posted. Stacey Ann, now there's a thing. Anyone attending your gigs and you know they're coming gets to check out one of your basses of their choosing. Oh, there you go. Now, if you get 20 folks coming to see you, pack that car, yeah. That'd be a thing, wouldn't it? Yeah. I don't think the band would be too pleased. They've got all those cases at the side of the stage. DL42. Oh, and I've got 2 more basses this week. Excellent. Right, well, you've got to tell us what you got, haven't you, really? And if you want to send me photos via the email, brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com, you can. We won't tell the wife, don't worry. You'd love to come along when I will keep you posted, no problem. If you watch the live chats each week, Dave, I give everyone an update of what's coming up the week, sort of next. So you'll always have sort of a week's notice if I'm getting to your area. Bill Clements, good to see you. Hope you're well. Hope everything's good over there. Apart from the complete chaos that is being wrought by the American government, but there we are. We don't get political on here. So if anyone wants to join in, come in on live, on camera, or just audio if you wish. If you don't want to show your face, it's all cool. Drop me an email, brooksysbasscorner@gmail.com. I'll send you an invite, and then you will be here on the screen. I'm just checking everything's ticking over here. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's all working. That's all good. Stream health is, click on that button, Mike, and it'll tell you. Stream health is all good. Excellent. Excellent. It's all going well so far. Stacey, oh good grief, that's the truth. This is a wonderful respite from the US craziness. I try my best. Steffi, One Vision of Queen with Mark Martell is coming to your hometown. Yes, you need to go see them. He's very good. I can't remember. No, he was on the gig that I saw with the Queen Experience when he was in that band. So that was 2015, 10 years ago. I saw the Queen Experience and he was the front man for them. Very good he was too. What a voice. Go and see them. You'll enjoy that. Dave, I can't say DL42 every time, so I'm going to say Dave. Okay. Well, I'm a noob. Saw you do a review of an Ibanez SR300E, and my one is right there. Yep. Bought pink one, lovely. Squire Jazz Bass 2016 active, great. Okay. Got my eye on a natural finish Squire JB Standard 2. Cool. Okay. Enjoy. You'll hear the tonal differences between those. The Ibanez obviously is running on a pair of soap bars. And the Squire has obviously got single coils, but that Ibanez SR300E for the money is outstanding. What you're getting in terms of performance, playability, range of tones. There's so much on offer with those basses. I've always been impressed with Ibanez stuff. I cannot ever actually remember playing one I didn't like. Even the passive 70s models are great. They're so punchy. But the SR300, I remember reviewing one of those back in 2007 for Bass Guitar Magazine and just thinking, this is just so much bass for the money. Really is. That if I had to go and do a gig and someone went, oh, you can't use your bass, you've got to have this, I wouldn't care. I'd be quite happy with it. And the one here, review video will be going up, well, hopefully as soon as I can finish doing the nuts and bolts on it, it'll be up and out there. The demo video is obviously active. That's what you've seen. And I had a very nice comment from a gentleman yesterday, actually, on that video. Let me just find that. Thank you, whoever you are. Here we go. Going to the messages, Mike. That's what you're looking for. See if I can find it. Here we go. So I don't know who this is. Sci-Fi Sombambo 8253, whoever you are, if you're watching the live chat, thank you. He said, and I quote, "This is the most perfect bass review ever. It's about the bass, not the bassist." And I pointed out to him, that ain't even a review, mate. This is a demo. Thank you, and I appreciate it. This is the demo. The review video will be going live in the next 10 days. So if that is you, Sci-Fi Sombambo 8253, thank you very much. I appreciated that comment. That follows basically my whole premise on the demos, is that it's not about, in fact, all the demos, all the reviews, it's not about me. It's about the gear. No one cares what I look like, or, I mean, this is not a pretty face. But the information, reviews, demos, it's what I used to do for the magazine. Anything you see here on Brooks's Bass Corner, you will get an unbiased opinion from me. If something's great, I will sing it from the rooftops. You know, Betsy, I think, is a wonderful bass, and I will say that on the channel a million times. But if something is bad or something isn't good, I'm not going to gloss it up and say, oh, it's great. Don't do that. Probably why we don't get sponsorship here on the channel. It might be, it might not. Who cares? But when I do the demos, I do the reviews. If there's something not good about an instrument or a pedal or an amp, I'll tell you. Hopefully that's what draws a lot of you to the channel, is that you know I'm going to give you the layman's terms. What is this thing about? Is it good? Is it bad? Is it all right? I'll tell you. You know, there's a Yamaha BB235 here on the channel. I've done demos and reviews of it. If you watch the review video, there's a chunk before I even get into the review. I play the low B and the thing is rattling like crazy. And the tuning peg, machine head, is not right. It's secure, but the actual thing itself is not right. And I point that out. I didn't have to. I could have just glossed over it and not even mentioned it. That's the bass Yamaha sent to me for review. The hardware isn't right. Play the string, you hear it rattling around. I put my thumb on the tuner, it stops rattling. Shouldn't have to do that on a Yamaha bass. It's the first time I've ever encountered it. I pointed it out. Westfort, you got an SR400 EPB-DX. Very good. Yeah, all the Yamaha, sorry. All the Ibanez stuff I've been mightily impressed with. We used to do review days for the magazine at PMT in Birmingham, which was the biggest store, probably the biggest guitar store in the UK. I mean, it was like an aircraft hangar. And they used to have, any point you went in, but very often when we were in, quite a lot of the... They didn't hold just one range from Ibanez. They would hold examples. Excuse me. They would hold examples of most ranges within the Ibanez catalogue. So you get the cheaper end and the expensive end and everything in between. And when we go and do review days, I'd keep pulling basses out and my head to go, it's not an Ibanez review day. It's loads of basses review day. You got to pull out like 10 different basses. It can't all be Ibanez. And it was like, yeah, but there's so much here. There's so much here. We just space the reviews out. And he's like, yeah, but you know, by the time we get round to like 6 months' time, they'll have changed the range again. And the finishes will have changed. The colours will have changed. So you're always chasing your tail with the Ibanez stuff because they update all the time. But the company's to be applauded for that. They've got such good gear. They really have. Westfort, you've done some little changes on it. You've added a finger amp, cool, and a hip shot detuner. All good stuff. See-through head, good to see you. Hi, Mike. In the covers band world, I've often found there's a conflict between being a serious pro band and just having a laugh with your mates. That's always been there. Always hard when you're the professionally minded one. Yeah. Thankfully, the bands I was in, I make it sound like the history of my life. It's not. So I was in one covers band for 17 years. That was my main thing for 17 years. and I did loads of depping. It was always a surprise when you came out of your band to go and dep with another band, how different bands treat it. Some do treat it as just a laugh with your mates and it's some beer tokens. And invariably in those situations, you'd go in with a professional mindset and you've done your prep. I was always flabbergasted at how often I knew the set and the songs better than the band I was playing with. I couldn't believe it sometimes. It was like, you guys have been doing this for how long? And yet I know your arrangements and I've only learnt them in the past 4 days and I know this stuff better than you do. It happens. It's the way of the world. But I'll tell you this, if you go into it with a professional mindset and your band is professional, you'll do so much better than those other bands. You will. Because when you start doing private events, or even when you're doing the pubs and clubs and a booker or someone from another venue or a potential client or a corporate client sees you, they know when they're seeing a good band. And invariably they'll have gone around and looked at several bands at several gigs. If you do really well, and people know it, people do know it. I've had it, I've experienced it. I've been in an audience watching bands, and you know when a good band is there and they know what they're doing and they're rehearsed and they've got some banter with the audience. They know how to do all this. You know those things. But if you put your best foot forward, work hard at it, be professional. I've always said to people, if you aren't professional about it, why would you want someone to think of you as professional? Because if you're not putting that forward, that's not what's going to come across. So it's always in a band's interest to, be as professional as you possibly can be. Sometimes the situation means you can't be. I can remember doing things at rugby clubs and stuff where it's just gone off and the floor is just awash with muddy water and plastic glasses and stuff, and there's a fight going on up there and there's something going off, and you just have to soldier on through and just don't talk, just do the songs, play, get paid and get out of there. Doesn't mean you have to go back, If you get asked to go back and you don't want to do it, just politely decline. Say, I'm sorry, we're already booked. You can't do it. But being professional, It's hard if you're in a band and your bandmates aren't professional and you're the one that's carrying that can. I don't know the ins and outs. I presume you're talking about the band you play in. In that situation, it's a band meeting time. And you have to say to people, what is your objective? What do you want this band to be? If it is just... Sorry, the voice a little husky from singing last night. Up there with the birds. Woo! I was going for it last night. Yeah, that's band meeting time. So you kind of got to thrash out, what do you want this band to be? So in the situations I've been in, it was our income. The band was everything. And you do your very best, maximize the gigs you can do, maximize the income for everyone. It's cash in your pocket. It's your livelihood. You go week to week, month to month, and you keep going. If people are just treating it as a bit on the side, outside of their regular day job, then maybe you got to think, is this the band for me? If you're the only professional one, the other guys are sodding about, it's very hard to get rid of three or four other people who aren't of the same mindset as you, in which case you've just got to look for other things and eventually walk away. I'm not telling you to leave your band, but, if you're unhappy in a band situation, and I've been in this situation, you kind of have to then rationalize it. Well, do I earn well off the band? Is it paying all my bills and my mortgage? Yeah, right. Well, just stick at it. Other things will come your way over time. If you're not happy and you're not reliant on it, I've never been in that position. I've always been reliant on the bands I'm in and the things I do for my income and my state of living. But if I had a day job and music was my enjoyable thing I did at weekends and I got paid well for it, if you don't rely on it, don't do something you don't enjoy, because it will just grind you down. But, if your bandmates aren't playing ball and don't see it the same way as you, then maybe it's time for a band meeting and just thrash it out and say, guys, we've either got to up our game and become more professional, Or maybe you take your professional head off and you've just got to go with the flow. There's no hard and fast, easy answers on this. And I've been through it. I've seen it. I've known other musicians in the same situation. It's hard because music is like photography. You know, there's loads of great photographers, and then there's lots of people who do it as a hobby and turn it into a profession, and then manage to get loads of work at cheaper prices. And the guys who do it for a living end up losing out. Bands are the same thing. You know, it always kind of ground my gears when we had the recession in 2008, 2009. We thought that economic downturn and the financial pressures of gigging and venues wanting to pay less would actually clear the decks of a lot of the weekend sort of part-timers who didn't do it seriously. And in actual fact, what happened was the complete opposite. There was this huge upturn in bands that would do weddings for 300 quid. Well, we used to charge 1,500 quid. And suddenly you're in conflict with clients who want you to do their wedding, but at 300 quid. Well, we saw you at O'Neill's in Oxford and it was 300 quid. It's like, yeah, but that was O'Neill's. You know, we left home. After an hour, we're at the gig. The gig is 2 hours. We then go home afterwards. Your wedding is going to be leaving at midday and probably not getting home till 3 or 4 in the morning. Well, you find me an electrician, a plumber, any sort of trade like that, and they're going to do a 14-hour day. Whatever they're going to charge you, we'll do it for half. And that's how you have to explain it, unless you're prepared to do it for 300 quid. We never were. So we would stick to our guns. If it was a peak time during the year, like someone wanted to do a wedding in the summer and we didn't have a gig, but someone was asking us to do it on the cheap, we just wouldn't take the cheap gig because we knew something better would come in. It's a laugh, isn't it? It's people often think, oh, you just turn up and play. There's all of this goes on around bands. It's very hard. It's but you have to cut your cloth accordingly and put your stall out and go with it on that basis. It's very sometimes you can set hard and fast sort of parameters as to what you want the band to be, and sometimes you just got to flex it a bit. It can't always be the ideal. And I know sometimes we would end up taking a gig at short notice because nothing better had come in. We didn't want to go out for that fee, but that was all that was on the table. So it was like, well, it's that or nothing. So what are we going to do? Well, we've all got bills to pay. Let's go and do it. You never know. Also, doing a gig on the cheap, and you might look down your nose at it, you never know who's watching. You might end up doing a gig on the cheap and come out with a £1,500 private party, private function. Someone might just see you and go, you are really great. We'd like you to come and play our daughter's wedding, or we've got a 60th birthday party or a 40th party or something, or I work for a company, we need a band for our event. Come and do it. You never know. Dave, hang on, there's a lot of messages all suddenly come in there. Right, Westford. I'm thinking of swapping the pickups, okay, on the Ibanez. Okay, fair enough. You will need to pick wisely what you replace them with, because Ibanez pickup dimensions don't follow the usual dimensions, I think. Just check before you go down that road. You may end up, if you go for proper humbuckers instead of the soap bars, you may need to have some routing done on the bass. And to be honest, the cost of it and the grief, unless you've got someone that does that and you trust their work, you might just find it's too much of an arse-ache. Might actually be quicker and cheaper just to buy a different bass. But there we are. It's your experiment bass. Fine. Okay. Dave, hi Westford. I was going to do pickup swap on my Yamaha RBX 374A, but read that altering pickup height and a change of strings first. I tried that and got it just how I wanted it to sound. Minor tweaks. I will always go back to the story with my Status Empathy, where I bought that bass, sounded great in the shop, took it to a gig the same night. It did not sound like the same bass. I tried to make that bass work for about 6 months, and I just couldn't make it sound how I wanted it to sound. I was not happy. It basically sat on a wall hanger here from late 2002 until spring 2007, and someone offered me money for it. They wanted to buy it, and I thought, no, I'm going to give that bass another go. And if after a month of gigs I can't make it work for me, it's going out the door. I'll sell it. I'll recoup my money. And I did a complete overhaul. I did a reset up. I changed the brand and gauge of strings I was using. I adjusted the pickup height, did a full action change, took it out on a gig, and it blew my mind. It was like a completely different bass. And that bass has done thousands of gigs ever since 2007. So definitely, before you start altering things like pickups and circuits and what have you, experiment with string height, pickup height, and strings. Change of string, change of brand, change of material, change of gauge make huge differences. People sometimes overlook it. Much easier just to change your string, find the string that works for that instrument, than carving up your bass and changing pickups and changing circuit. A lot of the electronic stuff in terms of changing circuit you can do with preamp pedals anyway. So don't necessarily think you have to shift the bass on or change the electronics. A lot of it you can just do with a pedal. And sometimes that's the cheaper option. Dave, then I put what I saved into a high mass bridge. Good thing. West 4. I've already tried to adjust the pickup height and to change the string, but there's something about how those pickups sound that doesn't do it for me. Okay, fair enough. Sometimes once you've tested all the other options and possibilities, that will work. Stacey Ann, have you given me a super chat there? I can't see the post. Here we go. Stacey Ann, thank you. Thank you very much. Stacey's just donated to the channel, $19.99. Thank you. That will help keep the channel running. Thank you very much. Bless your heart. Fabulous. That's superb. Thank you very much. Where is that video? That is... So I'm just going to, I need to flag your super chat payment. Just bear with me a moment. Let's flag that, shall we? Here we are. Fabulous. Thank you very much. Love it. Thank you. You can do the same as Stacey if you wish. You can help the channel. Literally, if you go to the bottom of the live chat section here on the video, so if you're on the mobile app, it's directly below. If you're on the desktop version, it's that way. You've got the box with the chat comment where we have the live chat comments, obviously. Next to that, you see an emoji icon. Feel free to give that an absolute pummeling. That helps the video within the algorithm. It makes the algorithm think you're really enjoying the video. Next to that, you're going to see a rectangle with a dollar symbol in. That's called super chat. Happens on all the live chats. If you wish to help the channel, help me, help the video within the algorithm, feel free to contribute to the channel financially. You don't have to do it all the time. It can be a small amount, large amount. Stacey's just donated basically 1 cent shy of $20. Thank you very much. And that helps the channel keep going. So everything you see here on the channel, the microphones, the stands, the leads, the lights, audio interfaces, cameras, the basses, the pedals, everything has to be paid for. Comes out of my pocket. We don't get anything for free here on the channel. So thank you very much for that super chat payment. All the videos here on the channel, we're a monetized channel. In the icons section underneath the video window, you'll see a thumbs up and thumbs down. Please give the video a thumbs up. It's the most important thing you can do for the channel and for the video. Comments and shares as well. Fabulous. Please comment on the video. Along from that, you'll see a love heart with a dollar symbol. It's called Super Thanks. It's basically the same facility as Super Chat, but it exists on every single video here on the channel. And it just allows you, if you see something on a video you really like or really enjoy, or I give you some advice or some information that you find handy, if you want to help me and say thank you, it helps the channel. Super Thanks is the same thing as Super Chat. It just allows you to make a financial contribution to the channel, and it helps us out. Thank you very much. Right, back into those messages. The thing wasn't scrolling, and I thought, I can see. Yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, Stacey. Love your bones. Well done. Where are we? Height. Dave, new pickups it is then. Any particular ones you fancy? Yeah, like I say, I think the dimensions of the Ibanez soap bars are different to most other replacement pickups, but do check that. I could be wrong, but I know they're kind of a bit idiosyncratic to Ibanez. But just check before you start drilling and gouging out big chunks of wood. Just check. See-through head, great comments, thanks. That's all right, that's what I'm here for. It's what the live chats is all about, sharing the knowledge. Didn't know you were at Hammond's place. Yeah, that came up last year. We did a family party there in the summer. It's about 3 miles from you. Right, well, we'll be there. I think it's the first weekend in July, and we're probably staying over. So keep tuning into the live chats, and as we get nearer to that date, I'll remind you. And maybe we'll go out for lunch on the Sunday or something. How about that? West Fort, my uncle is going to do it. He's a wonderful guitarist and bass guitar engineer. Fabulous. He's done pickup swaps for 50 years. Fine. Okay, well, that's great. Well, then he'll know to check those dimensions. So all good. What are you thinking of? What are you going to swap to? And are you going to change from soap bars to single coils, split coils, Sim Super Quads? Have you thought about those? Do you know what Sim Super Quads are? If you don't, allow me to educate you, but I'll wait for your reply. You can, if you don't know what Sim Super Quads are, get a piece of paper and a pen, and I'll explain them to you. I'll give you a demo. DL42 Super Chat, £10. Thank you very, very, very much. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Bless your heart. Thank you, guys. Fabulous. You're making my day. We can eat this week, dear. We can eat this week. It's all good. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Well done, gang. The Super Chats just keep the channel rolling big time. Big time. So when I go out and I buy pedals for the reviews and the cleaning stuff for the workshop videos and all that, this is what your super chat payments go towards. They go towards the subscription for the StreamYard that allows us to have the live chats. It goes towards the vidIQ platform. It will be going towards CapCut, which allows me to put in a 2-hour live video. Some of these live chats are going to be cut into shorts shortly. I use CapCut for doing it. It basically, using AI, it pulls out all the important bits of your video and creates YouTube shorts. So your super chat payments, guys, that's what they're going towards. And hopefully it will produce even better content going forward. That's the whole premise of it. So thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Fabulous, fabulous, fabulous. Bless your hearts. And I should also mention, and I get, so there's Stacey's one, fabulous. There's Dave's one, outstanding. I haven't mentioned this for a few weeks. So anyone through the whole life of the live chats and the videos doing super thanks, who've made super chat payments, super thanks payments, later this year, I'm going to do a run of unique Brooks's Bass Corner t-shirts. And all of you who've made super chat payments and super thanks payments will be getting one of those t-shirts for free. All right. So Dave, one will be coming your way. Stacey, you'll probably get a box, the amount of super chat payments you've done. So yeah, so anyone who makes super chat and super thanks payments, you will be getting a free one-off Brooks's Bass Corner t-shirt. I won't make those t-shirts available in the merch store. They will be one-offs. So the only people that will get them are people that donate to the channel, some of the bass retailers here in the UK. They will be at my discretion to give out. So they will be heading your way. I'll tell you when I need sizes. All right, guys. Dave, it's not me changing my EB pickups. Yes, no, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Brooks's Bass Corner advice is gold nugget. Well, I try. Oh, look, it's years of experience, isn't it? It's I've been doing this 30 years this year professionally. 38 since I first picked up a bass. So you pick all this stuff up, you know. If I've got the information and the knowledge, it's yours to have. What you do with it after that is up to you. It's still Hurts me deeply that our friend Nick Smith passed away in January with all that knowledge and information in his head. He knew stuff about basses even the manufacturers of their basses didn't know. I've been in communication with his sister. They're going through all his collection and stuff. It is literally the biggest bass store you've ever seen in your life. See Through Head, thank you very much for that super chat. Fabulous. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I'm going into the video to, there are things I can do in that I can't do in StreamYard. So I'm just, thank you. Thank you very much. Bless you. Thank you, guys. Fabulous. I'm trying to... Okay, I'm liking that. Yeah, it's saying celebrate their first super chat. And I'm clicking on it, and it's not doing... Ah, hang on. Is there a message there? There might be. Nope, that's up there. See Through Head. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Westfords. I know what our Sim Super Quads are. They are just fantastic. I thought about maybe swapping for those. I have a set here that were retrofitted into a Lodestone bass. So I've explained this to people before, but the uninitiated, I'll explain it again. Let me just get the bass. A bit dusty, actually. These are clean. So Lodestone were the first instruments that Ashdown produced in the late 2000s, around about 2009, 2010. In 2012, I started buying these up because they were really cheap. They're great basses, super jazzes, basically. Designed by Mark Gooday of... actually, let me just put that down and let me just remove that banner for a second. So they're super jazz designed. They were different formats, some with... 2 single coils, some with a split coil only, some with a split coil and a single coil. I had 4. So I had a blue one, a red 5-string, this one, and the white one that you see on the wall behind me, the white and gold one. So I sold the blue one. I sold the red one to my neighbour, and I've kept the sunburst and the white one. So obviously the white one's still got the twin single coils, as you can see, EMGs. These basses were made in the same Czech Republic factory as the Spectre Euros, and I suspect the circuit is very, very similar to the tone pump that's on the Spectres. Super powerful, loads of cut and boost, really loud. But I thought, what's the point in having 2 basses with exactly the same setup? And I wanted to get some super quads into a bass. So at the time, they weren't available as a retrofit. You could only have them if you bought an Enfield bass. Then Martin, with my prodding, thought better and decided to make these pickups available as retrofit. So for anyone that doesn't know, give me a minute. Oh, I think the batteries are gone actually in this. I'll know as soon as I put a jack in. Yeah, batteries are gone. In fact, I think I took the batteries out so they didn't leak. So basically, these have 4 coils in each pickup. Microphone, put that there. Talk into that and then hold the bass up. How about that? So there's 4 coils in each pickup, 2 and 2, 2 and 2. Using these switches, it's a 3-way switch. So in the down position, the LED goes red and you end up with a split coil. So 1, 2, like a P bass. Put the switch up, it will go green and you end up with a single coil. So again, 2 coils will be active, 1 and 2. You go to up, that will go blue and it will become a humbucker, which is all 4 coils. Now then, obviously you have pickup panning. So you can go between each pickup or have both on, obviously. To complement this pickup system, I went with a John East UNI-PRE, which was the most up-to-date circuit he had at the time in 2016. And I did a bit of tinkering with the circuit. So it's got all the trim pots and stuff inside on the circuit. So I can change the shelving frequencies of the EQ. So we've got volume. Normally I'd put a push-pull for active-passive on there, but I didn't want passive. I've then got a stacked bass and treble. I've then got passive tone, not passive tone control, sorry, pickup pan. I'm thinking of the Marcus Retro. This isn't the Marcus Retro. Pickup pan, and then a stacked mid cut boost and the frequencies. And that's it. So the depth of tones on this bass are incredible. You can switch between single coils, split coils, humbuckers, just flicking switches. And then you've got all the panning options as well. And the EQ on it's fabulous. But they're not cheap, but they do give your bass. It's not an all-in-one solution, but it does mean you get all those general encompassing changes of tone from the different pickup styles, if that makes sense. So it doesn't necessarily mean you don't have to take a Precision, a Jazz and a Stingray, although you can see it that way if you wish. And sometimes people play those pickups and go, oh, it doesn't sound like a 66 Jazz. Well, it isn't going to sound like a 66 Jazz. It's not a 66 Jazz. It will give you two sets of single coil pickups, but they're not voiced the same as a 66. How do you replicate 60, 70 years of pickup design in one unit? You can't do that. That's modeling that does that. But what it does do is it gives you the option of having two pickups in your bass, which you can pan across or have both running, with the ability to replicate a generic split coil tone, a single coil tone, and a humbucking tone. That's how they work. Right, let me see. So there's all the super chats. Thank you, guys. Super, super impressed. I don't think I've ever had 3 super chats on one live chat before. So thank you. From the bottom of my heart. T-shirts will be in the post when I decide exactly what the design's going to be and I get them made up. Keith Doherty. You swap the pickups in your Squier VM70s Jazz. Okay, put Seymour Duncan quarter pounders in. Huge difference. Pickups generally will be, certainly in a passive bass, because you're not dealing with active circuitry, it will be the biggest change you can make tonally. Once you start getting into active basses, then the circuit can make a hell of a difference. Changing a circuit and pickups is an even bigger difference. But if you just go for pickup change, you will notice a difference. You know, different manufacturers have like a signature tone to their pickups. But sometimes in an active bass, it's not quite as evident, the change that's happened, because the circuit and the way the EQ works with those pickups will generally make more of a difference. For example, if you get a bass and change the active circuit out for a GB rumor circuit, the rumor circuit will override everything. Even though the pickups are fabulous on a GB, the circuit will override any other differences by a long chalk. That's for sure. But then that's offering 18 decibels of boost and cut, so it's no surprise, really. Pete, Neoland, good to see you. Thank you. Hope you're well. The circuit for the Lodestone was called different. And when Spectre was introduced to those, they used them also in their basses. Oh, okay, so it's the same thing. Right, there we go. Thank you for that insight. It does sound very similar to what the tone pump does. And that's why when I found out that the Lodestones came from the same factory, I thought, I wonder. And when you actually see that circuit inside those basses, it's epoxied. So clearly there's a design from that factory in the Czech Republic, and they epoxy, and that's their circuit. That's their generic 2-band EQ circuit. It works, I tell you that. The Lodestones were heftily powerful. And I've actually got the circuit and pickups for that bass in the drawer over there, if anyone's interested in buying them. If you're after a tone pump copy circuit and a pair of EMG single coils, they are there in that stacking drawer there to my left. But having said that, they won't be going back in that bass because it's all been routed for the super quads and what have you. So, and actually they had to do quite a bit of routing on that. I remember Martin saying, I'm not sure we're going to fit all this in here. I said, well, just route what you got to do. It's a Lodestone. I bought it on the cheap. It needs to have those pickups and that circuit. Crack on. And he did a good job. He actually did a a sort of staggered video on the Sims page for it when he did it. It came out great. Came out really good. I've used that bass on quite a few gigs. It's nice to have that flexibility. You do get times where you're playing and you think, am I just fiddling for fiddling's sake? But actually, I found a good sound on there, which was not representative of any other bass I've got. So I ended up with, and I discovered this because Martin lent me an Enfield English Rose that I took out on a month of dates in the Middle East in 2016, and I found the sound I liked actually with two sounds, which was a double split coil, and then the other one was to have a humbucker in the neck position and a split coil on the bridge, which you think in your mind's eye, oh well, that's what Billy Sheehan has on a Yamaha Attitude, but it wasn't, because that the bridge pickup is further back, so it was actually a split coil in the bridge, nothing in the middle, and the neck pickup as the humbucker, and I really loved it. It's a really good sound, and actually really handy that if you find it's not the tone you're looking for at the time, panning between the two then gave you another couple of different sounds, and actually having a split coil in the bridge on its own is really nice. More throaty than having like a soloing a single coil bridge pickup. It's got a bit more heft, a bit more mids to it, low mids. So yeah, there we go. That's my two penneth. No sign of Mr. Millard yet. I knew this would be too early for him. Bless him. So as I've said, please give the video a thumbs up. Actually, I didn't do the poll today. I need to do the poll. Bear with me a moment. Let's just do that, shall we? I need to put the poll up, don't I? Right. There we go. I ran out of time. Knew there was something I'd forgotten. There we go. Beautiful. There we are. That is up and running. Grand. Super duper duper. Right. So catch up on the messages here. Westfall, you are going to change my mind. Okay. Well, there is a video here on the channel. Actually, I did a demo of it during lockdown. I need to do a review and go into a thing explaining it all. If you want to check it out, let me just get those video details for you. We are looking for... There we go. You can check this out at your leisure. So this is a demo, and it's not all inclusive. I meant to do like a second and third installment. I just not got round to it. So it's a demo of that Lodestone bass with the super quads, with the John East UNI-PRE in there. I just take you through a bunch of tones, different settings. It's all explained on screen. So if you get confused with it, ask me some questions and I'll try and explain it to you. So all the demos and reviews on the channel, and I get this question occasionally. So people say, you do percentages for the EQ. How are you doing that? So basically, 0 is the center detent point. So when I say 50% treble or 50% bass, that isn't the center detent. 50% is halfway between the center detent and the full range of that EQ control. So in some people's minds, they might see that as 75%. I don't. I count that as 50%. So if an EQ has center detents, 0 is the center point, so there's no cut, no boost. 50% is halfway between center detent and full. If I'd put minus 50, then that would be halfway between 0 and minus the full cut. That's how I do it. But I do get questions occasionally from people going, what do you mean by that? And so that's the explanation of that. Something's telling me I'm going to end up with some super quads. They're not the cheapest pickups, okay? They're not cheap. But if this is a bass that you're trying different things in, again, watch as many videos as you possibly can of this and of basses with these pickups, because you're going to hear different active circuits affecting them. So if you compare my Lodestone with an Enfield, Enfields generally have a Glockenklang, either a 2-band or a 3-band EQ. I'm not a fan. I find them way too clinical, which is why I went for the John East circuit. So again, the circuit you match with the pickups will make a difference. So if you listen to any videos and you don't find them matched up with an Ibanez circuit, you don't know necessarily how those pickups are going to sound with that circuit. But what you do know is the tonal options you've got from those pickups. So Martin Sims always said to me, forget about the EQ you put in there. Think of the pickup as the tonal generator. And in a sense, he's right, because where those pickups are on the body and where they're located is what going to determine the performance of the string vibration, where the string is played along its length, and where the pickup is and where it's picking up that vibration. So it doesn't matter. You can add as much bass EQ from the circuit as you want. If that pickup is positioned more towards the neck than the midpoint, you're going to get more bass frequency anyway. So think of the pickup as the tonal generator. So once you get in your head what the tone of a split coil is, what the tone of a single coil is, and what the tone of a humbucker is, you can then kind of get your head around what sounds are going to be produced before you've even brought the EQ into play. The EQ should be for finesse, for fine tuning, fine detail. But think of the pickup and the setting you've got that on, and where you position it, that will determine, if you like, the bass tonal character of that instrument. Hopefully that kind of explains it a bit better. But there's so much going on between those pickups and an active circuit that, like I say, unless you can find a demo of a bass, an Ibanez with those pickups attached, you don't know what that's actually going to sound like. You can get an approximation based on what a split coil, a single coil, and a humbucker is going to sound like, but it's not necessarily the sound your bass is going to make. You may find the pickups are so super bright you need to change the strings you use. So you might either change material, you might change gauge, or you might change winding. You may even change manufacturer. But there will be something that works, something that fits. So all these different conundrums, different variations on things. I try, when I started out, the idea was to present all of these different alternatives to people. Sometimes it's just not possible. There's so much variation. And I try in the demos to give you as much, sort of as wide a spread of possibilities between pickups and EQ settings, so you can hear it without having to go in a shop and do your own comparison. But some, like with the Ibanez, the SR300, I did that demo. There were so many tonal options with the different settings, different playing styles, that I thought just no one's going to watch. I can't even remember how long that demo is, actually. Let me just find it. Right, you want videos, Mike, not live. Here we are. So a demo normally of any bass here on the channel is about between 4.5 and 6 minutes long. That Ibanez SR300 with its 3-band EQ and different tonal settings that are available, 10.5 minutes long. And even I remember editing it thinking this is going to be 15 minutes. Well, I don't even do review videos that are 15 minutes. So to expect someone to sit there and watch a demo for 15 minutes, that wasn't going to happen. So I had to find a way of sort of truncating all the different tonal examples and sort of again, it's an approximation. I can't sit there and do the whole thing. No one's going to watch it. Having said that, that video's accrued 3,500 views in just under a year. So obviously someone likes watching it. But the review video, I will take that demo, and I've got to find a way of editing it into the video without that video becoming super long. But having said that, it's one of the most popular basses on the planet. So, and I get a lot of feedback from people, a lot of comments saying, I've watched your video. It made me go and buy that bass. So great. Ibanez, if you want to chuck some money my way, you go for it. Westfort, I love my, I love my bass quite bright. Okay. But it depends on the context of use. That's youth as well. When I was your age, all my basses, treble up, full whack, slap, whenever possible. You learn as you get older. That is not the order of things. And now as I get older, I wind my treble in so much. There are times and certain gigs where I will give it a good old crank and off we go. But a lot of the time, like tonight on Disco Inferno, the amount of times I get bass players go, oh, well, I'm not sure I could dep that gig. It's all slapping. It's like, you're kidding. There is no slap. I think the only real bit of slap is the car wash fill. There's some plucks on car wash. Occasionally on Feel the Force, I might chuck in a cheeky slap here and there. But everything's fingerstyle. Otherwise, there's very little slap in the Disco Inferno set. Bass is bottom end. It's low mids. It's not all twang and clatteriness. It's and actually, John, you'll see that tonight. You know, when you come and see it, it's I'm not slapping very much. There are times when I might kick in on the tone hammer a bit of extra boost and brightness. I know I do that on a couple of the Chic songs, but it's not for the whole song. It's like in Everybody Dance, I have a little bit where I get introduced to the audience, give it a little boost there. In Boogie Oogie Oogie, when I get introduced again, there's a little like higher mid boost I kick in just so people can hear it's me. But the rest of it, no, I don't go for that hi-fi sound. Occasionally I do gigs with bands where I do and I need it, but in Disco Inferno, well, in Uncle Funk, I try not to. And again, we've got like 8-9 piece band. There's a lot of frequencies going on. I'm responsible for the bottom end, not top end clatter. So that's why I tend not to go full out with the treble control. Dave, do you make up your own cables? No, I don't. I do it for a certain length I want. And do you use CTS Premium 250K 9% tolerance pots? I'm as untechnical as they come, Dave. I don't. My cables generally are whirlwinds, and I've had whirlwinds since 1996. I've never had one go wrong, ever. I've got loads of them now because I have them in different bags and for different cases, for different gigs and stuff. But I've used whirlwinds pretty much exclusively since 1996. I bought my first one in September 1996 because the cable I had, which was a Klotz, died. And I had to replace my cables, and I had a gig that night at Sheffield Hallam. It wasn't Sheffield Uni, it was Sheffield Hallam University. And I bought them literally about an hour before I got in the band van, and we drove off to Sheffield. And I've used those cables. I've still got them in my gig bag. They're still going, nearly 30 years on. So, no, I don't. I had a company called Designer Cable make me some cables for my wireless, my Line 6 wireless, about 2-3 years ago. I thought I'd lost my connecting cable with the little XLR thing that goes in the top of the Line 6s, and then found that cable, but I got Designer Cable to make me a couple of extras. So I've got replacements. You're wondering if there's no tonal difference, just a bump in longevity. I've always worked on this thing that we can take these things too far. And I always sort of, in my own head, laughed at hi-fi buffs who in their 60s and 70s are going and buying top-end hi-fi separates and home cinema stuff, and the hearing's going. Everyone in life, your hearing deteriorates. So you can keep going and buying the best and the best and the best, and there comes a point where you personally are not going to hear the difference. But on gigs, you cannot tell me Joe Smith, who's 50 meters back from the front of the stage, can hear whether I've got some premium cable with the best connectors, and they're not going to tell. We do it for our own love, and if people enjoy that and that's what they want, you go for it. Personally, as I say, I've used Whirlwinds for 30 years. I've never had a cable go wrong. I've had no faults. I've never had a sound man go, your cable sounds crap. So on that basis, the fact that I'm happy with Whirlwinds, I've had no issues, I'll just leave that there. That's something I don't have to worry about. On gigs, I have so many other things to worry about. Batteries, EQ, are my glasses on? Are my in-ears working okay? Am I in time with Lauren Mugridge next to me with our dance steps? Is my mix in my in-ears like? That's what I want to worry. I don't want to be worrying about cables. There's nothing worse on a gig than a cable starts to go wrong, or I had it on the GB and I thought it was the lead, and it wasn't. It was actually the Neutrik locking jack socket had gone wrong. I got Bernie to replace it. It was on the Kingfisher Blue GB. A couple of years ago, we're actually, when we came out of lockdown, we were doing the Uncle Funk shows. So where that socket is, let me just close that comment off. Hold on. Where that is, it points downwards, and if you don't have an angled jack and you have a regular 1/4-inch jack, that jack end ends up hitting your thigh, and I thought it was causing a problem. I thought it was the cable, and it wasn't. It was the socket. It had just corroded inside a bit. So I took it down to Bernie. I said, sort that out. And so he did. So that was a lovely chrome one before, and he took it off and replaced it with a black one. There we go. Anyone wondering what I'm talking about? There we go. The old girl. 21 this year in July. Not bad for 21-year-old bass. The old gunshot wound in the back, of course. It's not a gunshot wound. It's a knot in the wood. But there she is. Doing me proud. 21 years. LEDs, of course. Everyone always goes, but you can't see them with the lights. No, so I'll turn the light off. There you go. Sides, of course. Headstock as well. Grand. Very fab, very groovy. So yeah, but Dave, if that's the path you go down with your cables, you go for it. But for me as a working bass player, nah, I can't get into that level, and I know my hearing is affected from tinnitus. Up until 2011, I had no tinnitus, and I'd worn earplugs every gig religiously from the point I turned professional. And in 2011, I started doing a lot of dep gigs where I could not have earplugs in because I had to be able to hear what the band was saying in the middle of songs and off mic. And, oh, we're going to do this. If I wore earplugs, I missed their cues. Took them out. My hearing got decimated. Not just that band, various bands, also on our trips to the Middle East. Some of our gigs were so super vibey that with the earplugs in, you got no vibe of the gig. So I did a couple of shows where I used to take the earplugs out. It was so loud. I'm paying for it now. So anyway, I won't hear the benefits of super fabulous cables and stuff. So I just accept that I go with my Whirlwinds, and that suits me. But like I say, if you want to go down the custom cable route and it works for you, then by all means go for it. Stacy, as we mellow, I think our personal preference for a MIDI lowness grows. Yep, I agree. Westford, I keep my treble in the middle. Okay. Same for the mids, I put some more bass. You may find on certain basses and certain stages, I say live stages, sometimes you'll find you don't boost the bass, you actually boost low mids. So if you've got a sweepable mid, fabulous. If you haven't, you can boost the mids on the bass, but you may end up finding sometimes that you reduce the amount of bottom end on your amp and you just give the low mids a bit of a push up or a turn if it's a control, of course. And again, I learned very early on in my professional career that mids are your friend all the time. So I'm very aware sometimes, don't go boosting the bass and the treble full whack. Give your mids a boost and pull the other two extremes of the EQ down a bit. And that actually usually works. You fancy fingerstyle more than slap? It's maybe confusing because I'm a big level 42 fan, but fingerstyle I prefer. Same. Some of Mark's best bass playing is his fingerstyle. Some of the songs, some of the parts. His fingerstyle is immaculate. But it gets overlooked for his slap stuff. Oh, yes, Dave. Lots of level 42 fans on Brooks's Bass Corner. Don't worry about that. If you want to talk, level 42 and Mark King, let's go for it. We can be here all day. Freddie Forever, good to see. Hi, here he is. Mr. Phil Copping, ladies and gentlemen. This is Freddie, who I was playing with last night. Playing alongside. I was trying to say to you when you had your tight leather shorts on, did you have your shopping gear on? Is that what you go shopping in? We had a blast last night, didn't we? I mentioned our story earlier, Phil, about how we had a phone conversation during lockdown and we could have ended up in the same band. But here we are. And lovely that you said last night when we came off for the encore, we finally got there, Mike. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. And I look forward to many more over the years. It was great fun. We had a real blast last night. How did I find it bass-wise? Fabulous. Fabulous. As I said to you on several occasions last night, what's not to enjoy about playing the songs of your favourite band? You know, that's the way I look at it. It's we're in privileged position, and let's work it out. I did my first Queen tribute in 2019, so that's 24 years of a professional career. I didn't play in a Queen tribute. I didn't play any Queen tribute shows. I used to play Queen songs in the covers bands I played in, but I didn't get to do a tribute until 2019. And now here we are. I play in a couple, and I dep with a few. And, well, I'll throw the question back at you, Phil. How was it bass-wise for you? Bearing in mind I was stood on your right-hand side. How was it for you? How did it sound? Was it too loud, too quiet, not loud enough? You tell me. I did my homework. You know, I took the recordings I got sent. Obviously, I play with other Queen tributes, so I know the material. I know the layout. There's a couple of things in your versions where there's like an extended bar that might not be in there or is in there, and it was fine. But I approached it as I do any depth show. Give me the live recording. I'll listen to what your bass player does, and then that's what I'm copying. That's my bass to work from. So I tried to copy as much as I could. Obviously, I'm aware that your bass player has changed. So the live recording I got was from January 2023 at the Albert Hall in Llandrindod Wells in Wales. And here we are, and it's March 2025. You have a different bass player now. So the guy you've got playing with you now, I presume, plays a little differently to the other guy. I don't know what the other guy's name was. I know the current guy's Chris. I don't know who the guy with the beard was. And they both could play it totally differently. So I just took what that guy on the recording played, ran it through the Mike Brooks mincing machine, if you want to call it that. Probably not the best choice of words, Mike. Sausage Factory. No, that's not it either. Anyway. And then threw my spin on it based on the versions I play. In any tribute, whether it was when I used to do a Green Day tribute, Queen tributes, ABBA tributes, whatever. The artist has done all the work for you. The arrangements are there. The bass line is written. You haven't got to write a bass line. It is there. And I've always taken that approach in any tribute I've played in, unless a tribute says to me, This is what our bass player plays. You have to play it note for note. I will take the original version. That's your template. You've then got what the regular bass player plays. That's your bass. And then from that, you can, if you're sensible and half intelligent, you can amalgamate the two, and that's what you're going to play. So for me, really, I was topping and tailing, getting your starts and endings right. The medleys, getting the chops and changes. That was kind of it. And then it's just like, right, we'll commit it to memory and off we go. And that's why at soundcheck, I wasn't that picky about what songs to run or anything. I was quite happy with all of it. I'd done all my work. It wasn't like, and you see this with Depths. I mean, we get it occasionally in Uncle Funk. It's like looking at a rabbit in the headlights. They're just scared to death. It's like, oh, and especially if they've committed it to memory. With Uncle Funk, it's 32 songs, 34 songs, actually. It's a lot to learn. You haven't done your homework. It's going to come out in the gig. Hopefully, my attention to detail was there. Phil, the mids were awesome. There we go. In honesty, it was perfect and seamless. See, this is lovely. On my live chat, I'm broadcasting to the world. We talk about depping all the time here on the channel. And here I've got someone who's employed me to do a job, and we're getting the feedback. So there we go. So great to hear you're taking the Deacon sound. Lovely to see your enjoyment. That vibe is priceless. Again, how can you not enjoy playing Queen songs? It's there. The joy for me is A, seeing the audience enjoying it. And I said to you in the changing room, done church gigs before. They can go one or two ways. Either the reaction we got last night, which was fabulous. And again, anyone that was there at St. Peter's Church last night in Poole, you aren't going to be watching the live chat. But if you are, what a crowd, you know, fabulous. Thank you for looking after us, Mike and Floater. Private joke. I have been following that conversation this morning. Or a church gig will go the opposite way. And, you know, you do 1 hours of Queen. Some people aren't going to know the album tracks and the less famous tracks. And you get that. And you get the people getting up and walking out. We had none of that last night. They were totally up for a good night. And it was fabulous. It really was. So I'm really looking forward to Friday. I'll see you Friday. Now, if you want to lift Friday, let me know. Pick you up from the tube and we'll go together. It's fine. Not sure how you're going to get back home afterwards. I don't know what your plan is. But if you want a lift up to Leicester on Friday, let me know. And we can sort that. It's fine. Floater. Yeah. I couldn't believe she said that. I couldn't believe she said that. But there we are. There we are. Yes, Stacey, you're getting the employer evaluation. There we are. But it was a pleasure. We had a blast, didn't we? Good fun. How can you not enjoy doing that? How can you not enjoy doing it? And I have to applaud you, Phil. Costume changes are plenty. Very well done, sir. And I did like all the banter stuff. That was all good. I can't remember what it was. There was something you did, and I couldn't stop laughing. And I could actually hear people to my right saying funny things, and I was like, I thought I could have a conversation, but that's your job, to have the conversation with them mid-gig. But it's funny. It's great. Good fun. We had great fun last night. Thoroughly enjoyed it. And we'll do it all again on Friday, and then we'll do it again a week and a half after that. So, yeah. And you know where I am now. You know, if you need a depth, short notice, if I'm free, I'll be there. It's always... here we go. Sorry. We'll share that. It's always interesting to hear from someone depping and get their feedback too. It's so important to make a dep feel like they're one of the band. Exactly. Occasionally, I mean, I see both sides of it. I mean, God, I've been a dep since 1996 for hundreds of bands. And then when you're in your own band, you have a dep come in. Because I'm straddling both sides of it. So I've seen deps come in super confident. Not in necessarily in Uncle Funk, but in lots of different bands I've played in. And you get the super confident, oh, I know it all. And then they freeze, whether that's in sound check or on the gig. And we did a gig last year on a festival, and we had a dep singer. And she did it was an hour's set. She did the first 30 minutes. She was great. She was really good. I thought, wow, she's learnt it all. And then I think the exuberance that, oh, this is going quite well, completely cleared her brain. And the second half of the show, it was like having two different singers. She just couldn't cope. She got totally lost. She had to keep reverting back to her iPad on the floor of the stage, which wasn't, again, anyone knows me knows I don't like that. She just completely lost her way. And I've had it on gigs also where you've been super pumped up to do a good show and you've done all your prep and you get the first half, like if it's a 1 hour set straight through, you'll get the first 30 minutes done and you think, wow, this is going quite well, actually. Yeah. Don't come out of autopilot, because once you start thinking normally, autopilot gets switched off and you're lost. You're in dead man's land. And it's like, shit, what's the first chord of the next song? Oh, and again, that's why I always have a sheet on anything that I'm depping, although I didn't need it last night because you'd put the song list in front of me. If it's on something I don't know, for example, if I was doing a Spandau Ballet tribute last night and I'd never done it before, I would have what the song list is and I would have what the key of the song is. And if the first note if there's like a bass riff or something, and the first note isn't necessarily the key of the song, I'll write what the first note is, so I'm instantly there. And that's kind of how I do it. But I've seen every possible dep, I think, over the years. I've seen all the different possibilities. So you get the super hyper confidence who then go completely off the rails. You get the people who just walk in, quiet confidence, yeah, everything's fine. And then just do a blinding show. And then you get the readers who basically haven't learned anything and they're busking it. And I've seen people, I won't mention any names, I know people who write out charts and then the chart is completely wrong. But they convince themselves that because they've written out a chart that it's right and they're right. And then you'll be on the gig and it's like, mate, that is not what you're meant to have played or sung or whatever. No, it is. That's what I've written down. That doesn't, just because you've written it down, doesn't make it right. And I see that often. Just because you've written some notes down doesn't make what you've written down correct. Anyone can write anything down. Doesn't necessarily mean they've learnt the song. Yes, Stacey, this is what depping should feel like. Exactly. And so also, Phil, here is an education in what live chats are all about. So as I was explaining to you last night, so this is on YouTube, it's on Facebook. We're multi broadcasting. I'm running on StreamYard. So that where you see these banners and graphics, and I can do all sorts of little things. I can run, we can put graphics up on the back, and I can do this, and merch, and all of that sort of thing. This is what StreamYard affords you, but you have to pay for it. Trying to see if I've got something I can play, or I can put that in, and if we go to that, and you'll see a background, and yeah, so that's what StreamYard affords you. But it also allows, let's just check if Mr. Millard is up. He's not even risen yet, have you? Okay. It allows people to come in live, so let me stick that up. So you can actually come on screen if you want, Phil. You just drop me an email. Brooks's Bass Corner. There's a ticker running along the bottom of the screen. brooks'sbasscorner@gmail.com. I then email you an invite. You click on the invite. You come straight through here on the live chat. That's how it works. And we'll get rid of that graphic as well. Oh, we can show that. There's some selected headstocks from the Brooks collection, of course. So I'm coming back to that. There we are. So yeah, you're getting an induction into what live chats are all about. At the moment, we've got 13 viewers. We've had 3 super chat contributions today, which is fabulous. Thank you very much to the super chat donators. It is stream. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, all good. All good. So this is what we do. We do a regular live chat on Saturdays, although we're going to revert back to Tuesday evenings shortly. Trying to do live chats on a Saturday when you've got gigs on is tricky. It's hard. It's worked for this period. We've been running since January to March with Saturdays, and I think we'll do that again next year. So after Christmas and New Year, when things are a little quiet, we'll do the Saturday live chats. But we're going to revert back to Tuesday evenings from the 1st of April. So come in and join us on those. But basically, I'm broadcasting to the world, and these live chats go into your YouTube channel, and people can watch them forever. This is live chat 104 that I've done here on Brooks's Bass Corner. They're all there. So Dave, DL42, if you're looking for nuggets of bass goodness, feel free to delve into previous live chats. There's loads of stuff on there. We had Lee Sklar on here, the man with the beard. He came onto one of the live chats once. We've had Dave Swift on here. We've had Neil Fairclough from Queen. He's been here, done his thing. And yeah. So this is what we do. And you are broadcasting to the world. So here it is. It's 20 to 2. Coming to you from London town here in the UK. This is live chat 104 here on Brooks's Bass Corner. You're very welcome. You got any questions about bass guitars, amplifiers, effects, strings, gig bags, cleaning materials, doing an audition on bass for the first time, setting up a pedal board. If you're looking for gig advice, gear advice, if we can help, that's what we're here for. If I don't know the answer to a question, I'll open it up to the rest of the fine people we have here on the Brooks's Bass Corner live chats, and you're very welcome. We're a very friendly bunch. We don't tolerate nonsense, so if we get people wandering in being rude, obnoxious, they're straight out the door. Isn't that right, Stacey? So yeah. So straight after this live chat, I'll be putting my basses in their gig bags straight in the car, and we're off for a night of disco classics with Uncle Funk's Disco Inferno at the Drill Hall in Ware. If you're in the vicinity, I think there might be a couple of tickets left. We normally sell out, and if we're not sold out by the time I get to sound check, it'll be packed. Once we go on, the spare tickets will go on the door. Dave, Mike, have you considered streaming this on Twitch at the same time? I haven't. I found it recently to be a huge resource for live music and learning. I think you'll go down a storm. I will check that out. Thank you very much. I've known of Twitch. And in fact, I think I may even have set up a profile like a couple of years ago. But I was so busy on here on the channel getting everything sorted out that I didn't take it any further. I will check that out this week. Thank you. In fact, you know what? I'm going to make a little note. Not a big note, a little note. And I'll see. I'm not sure if I can broadcast out to Twitch, actually. Let me just check with... I don't want to come out of StreamYard and lose the thing. I will check it tomorrow before I go to my gig in Plymouth. Basically, we get a list within StreamYard of what we can broadcast out to simultaneously. I will check it. Check out Twitch for live chat broadcast. Thank you, Dave. I will do that. Super. Excellent. If that can draw people into the channel, fabulous. Stuart Milne. Now, I knew a Stuart Milne when I lived in Scotland, which would be 40 years ago. Can't be the same Stuart Milne, surely. But you're very welcome here, Stuart Milne. Good to see you. What's your opinion on filter-based preamps? Love them. Compared to conventional preamps, they're just two different things for achieving a similar job, but the sound differences are quite different. We're going to get Phil on. Here we go. Let me get you an invite, sir. We'll bring you to screen. How about that? Now, I don't want you all shy and retiring, Phil. Let me just send you that, and you can come in live. Get the headphones on. Right, filter-based compared to conventional EQs. Two different things. I'm a big fan of both. I've got, goodness, now you're asking. I've got 1, 2, 3. There is another one. I think I've got 3 or 4 basses that are filter based. Everything else is conventional EQ. It's a different thing. It's a learning curve. It took me a little while. The invite has gone to you, Phil, by the way. You have to sit and get used to the sounds of a filter preamp. It's a different concept. So with a conventional EQ, you've got cut and boost across EQ frequencies that are usually shelved. Sometimes you'll have a mid sweep that allows you to go across the mid frequencies. A filter based system is a different beast. So it's basically, it will be either a low pass or a high pass filter. With the Alembics, with the 20th anniversary and the Mark King signature that I have here. So on that bass, you've got two pickups. You've then got a filter for both pickups. There's also a volume control for both pickups. There's a pickup selector. It gets convoluted. And you've then got something called a Q switch. So basically, the Q switch will set a certain predetermined level of boosting of a frequency that is selected by your filter control. So as you turn the control, it sounds like a wah-wah effect, where you're going across the frequency range of the, whether it's a low pass or a high pass filter. On the Alembics, it's a low pass. So in that respect, again, taking advice from Micah at Alembic, her view is similar to Martin Sims. Think of your pickups as the tonal generator. So the neck pickup being responsible for your bass frequencies, the back pickup being responsible for your treble, and then you work everything else out from that. Now on a filter-based system like on the Alembics, it kind of, the way they work and sound negates the need or relevance of a mid EQ, because basically you're sitting within such a frequency range that the mids kind of almost take care of themselves, which again, trying to get your head around a filter-based system, a lot of it is ear training. So you have to realize how a small change on one pickup filter suddenly changes the sound, which is why you sometimes hear professional players saying, I had an Alembic and it drove me nuts because I could never find the same sound twice. It takes time. You've got to sit with it. You've got to work with it. But eventually it makes sense. And in a live setting, sometimes a filter-based EQ will make much more sense in terms of how it works and how it sounds. But it's not always the case. So again, work with it, get used to it. And then once you go out and start using it real world, it's like, oh, I suddenly work out how that makes total sense. Okay. And that's kind of my take. But like I say, a lot of my other basses, I generally have standard EQs. I can see you there, Phil. I'll add you in a second. I'd like 3-band rather than 2. There are certain 80s basses that work great as 2-band EQs, but one of the big points I always said with the Kubicki Factor was the big letdown was there was no mid EQ. On the some of the later Fender models, there was like a mid output trim pot, but you didn't have that on the original Kubickis. So some statuses, you know, the old Series 2, Series 2000s, they don't have mid EQs. They sound great, but sometimes it's just could do with that mid push. So that's where a preamp pedal or an EQ pedal comes in. But I don't really have a preference. I'll take both for what they are. Some people will have a fanaticism where they can't do one or the other. I'm quite happy working with both. You just got to find your sounds, so spend some time with the instrument. Stacey, Dave used to live in where when I was 12? Okay, and there's Phil. Right, bringing you to stage, sir. How are we doing?
Hi, I'm very good.
I'm going to bring you onto the screen. Hold on so they can see you. There you go, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh,
Phil
how are you, Mike?
I'm good. You're in a van, so I'm guessing you've got other bandmates.
Yeah, we've got Brian May here and
That's
Mike Edney here. So
yes,
the joys of travelling first class.
That's it. It looks like an episode of Minecraft. I'm joking. It's the makeup.
No, it's all good. So,
how are we doing?
About the traffic noise.
That's all right. Actually, the sound's pretty good.
That's good to hear. Yeah, so you got back well last night. All safe and sound.
Yeah, the roads were clear. It was good. All good.
Yeah.
We had a blast, didn't we?
It was a giggle. Yeah, I have to say. Just really nice to work with you finally. I know you've alluded to that, I think, in the beginning of your chat and everything. But it was one of those things that we met randomly in at the O2, didn't we?
Yeah.
And,
on that last run of gigs.
And I think the industry is such a small one. Inevitably, your paths are going to cross at some point. So it was so nice to have you on last night, man. Honestly, really good.
Well, thank you to Rob for asking me. I mean, he's asked me to dep on a few occasions, and it's always been on a series. Good-looking chap. Every time it always conflicted. It was like a Saturday when I was already busy, and it was like, can't do it.
Yeah,
and eventually, stars align, and
and these things happen.
It's all good. So what's tonight's event? Is it a public do or a private do? Or?
Yeah, it's a public one tonight. Yeah, it's we've got quite a good following over in sort of Caerphilly. So, Welsh crowds are normally raucous, and
of course, this will be you, Dave. We've got a guy called Dave here, and he's in Wales. He was asking me when I'm gigging in Wales, but.
Oh really? I'll get him along. Dave, come along.
There you go, Dave. There's your Saturday night sorted out.
Personal invitation. And is Dave a player as well?
He is. I think more of a beginner, but building up his knowledge and getting in there and learning it all. So he's been coming on to our live chats the past couple of weeks, months, and very welcome. Very welcome. Excellent. Boys all behaving themselves?
Ish, yeah.
Oh, well.
we did the obligatory. There's no frills in the industry at all. We were Travel Lodge last night and Weatherspoons for breakfast. And
excellent.
And all off on the road now, all with full bellies and
Excellent. Who's driving?
Kev's driving at the moment.
Oh, legend.
You're driving. Son's wig. There's
So where's James? Is he in his motor, is he?
Yeah, he's got a bit of a cold, so I'm trying to avoid him, to be honest.
Good plan.
I want to pick up...
I try to avoid him when he's not got a cold.
Yeah, to be...
When I got in last night, I defrosted.
Okay.
I was like an ice cube. I was like, Christ.
Yeah. And is that something that, obviously, most venues you play at, you're going to be warmed up and everything? Is there anything like last night was incredibly cold because it was a church?
What I don't understand is like I was cold. My hands were cold when I went on, but normally churches complain that they have these huge bills and keeping the funding going and and then we're sat in the changing room and the radiators are poleaxing and the place is absolutely freezing, so they've left the windows open. So it's a bit like your dad, what are we running here? Blackpool Illuminations, turn that light off. But yeah, they were heating the place and it was all going out, and it was a huge church, so it's not going to be easy to heat. My hands were really cold, so sort of before we went on I was walking around doing a lot of that, just trying to get everything. But first song, I mean, We Will Rock You Fast, it's fast, and I thought, don't pull a muscle here in your hand, but it was okay, it was all right. And then I think once we got out there and we were playing, the crowd kind of warmed us all up, and by the time we came off in the break, hands were fine. So.
Yeah, the adrenaline's pumping at that point.
That's it. Yeah.
And we spoke a little bit before about your board.
Pedal board, yeah.
Is it something that you approach differently for? Do you have multiple boards that you use for different gigs, or is it?
Yeah. So as I was explaining to you when we were doing soundcheck yesterday, before we went into lockdown, I never really used pedals. The only thing that was ever in my gig case was tuner pedal, and I would always carry an octave pedal because for bass player it just adds, especially if you're playing like a 3-piece or a 4-piece covers band, you've got to fill the frequencies. And we have this discussion here on the live chats quite regularly where people go, I'm getting lost in the mix. How do I make my bass sort of stand out, or how do I sit in with the rest of the band? You've got to find, and drum kits aren't exempt to this, how a drum kit is tuned and the types of drums and toms and all that will affect that frequency mesh in a band. And I mean, listening to the recordings, I was wary last night that James would be louder with me stood next to him than he sounded on that recording, because again, that recording was probably off the board based on the sound out front on that venue. On that record, I couldn't hear his snare drum particularly high in the mix. So clearly on the gig, like last night, I was like, tune into what his snare drum's doing, because he's going to be louder than what you've heard on the recording. So I'm always wary with any band situation how the different frequencies all kind of lock in. So, like I say, I used to always carry an octave pedal, but I didn't carry too much else. And then when we went into lockdown, and then I realised I was going to do Uncle Funk, and Simon, the band leader, said, well, look, it's a disco band, you know, you've got octavers and fuzzes and envelope filters, and he said, bring all that, we want all that. So I thought, okay, well, this is a good excuse to use all this gear that mounts up, you know. And so I pieced together what I thought was going to be my original board, and we went out on the first show, which funnily enough was a big festival. It was like, well, sink or swim, it's either going to work or it isn't. And after about 3 or 4 weeks, I realised I had things on that board maybe that I didn't need. So I took some of those off, and that's where that smaller board that I had last night sort of came into being. So it's like, well, why am I carrying this huge pedal train board around in a case? And I actually probably only need 5 of those pedals for Disco Inferno. And at the time I was doing Queen tributes, but also doing like a wedding function band, because this was like the early part after we'd come out of COVID. And I thought, well, what do I need on there? Well, I can actually get, because on the original Uncle Funk board, I had fuzzes and a distortion and 2 different envelope filters and 2 octave, and I was replicating stuff, and it was like, I don't need all that. And I had a phaser just for car wash, and I realized I could do that with the Aguilar Filter Twin, the green pedal that I had last night. So that bypassed the whole need for a phaser, so that went out the door. So that would have been sort of as we got into autumn in 2021. That pedal board you saw last night has been in existence for things where I don't need tons, but I just need options. So that's what that's all about. But when we started doing Decades of Dance, so I pieced that together in the summer. My original plan was to bring, you've not seen this before, so we've got all these.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of different guitars there. Don't even get me started on the pedals. And then there's the wall of amplification. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. It was my plan originally, once I saw the list of songs. So this is Decades of Dance.
Oh wow, well, that's a lot.
It's about 44 songs. It's crazy. And on that I had to list, aside from song keys and stuff, which songs needed a bass. There was a 4-string, 5-string, really fretless, synth bass, and it was like, Christ, what am I going to do? And I was looking at it thinking, well, I need 3 4-strings, 2 5s, and I was like, I'm not carting 6 basses along to a gig, forget that. So then it was a case of, right, need to rebuild the board. And as I went through listening to those songs, I thought, right, you've got to work out, you're covering 5 decades of dance music. That's 5 decades of completely different bass tones. So what was being used popularly, that's not even a word, anyway, what bass players were using in the 70s and 80s doesn't even compute in the current sort of production of dance music. It's all plugins and keys, there's no live bass. So I thought, right, you got to work out what is synth bass, what is live, and then you're going to have to work out which songs we're dropping keys on, so I'm going to need drop pedals, but also then within the synth pedal you've got all those factors and parameters to cue in. Is there then octaves on top of that? Is there filters? fuzz, whatever. So I had to make a list of what pedals I needed for each song. When I then went through it, and I was thinking, oh God, it's going to be a nightmare. It actually wasn't that bad, and I showed you that big. Well, it was going to be all that, and I was thinking, well, the guitarist has already got nothing to do on this. It's me and the keyboard player. So I had a chat with the keys player and I said, what do you want to do? And he said, well, I'm not going into like bottom bass synth area. We didn't want to fill up again the frequency spectrum with loads of bass synth and then bass on top. So I said to the sound man who was dealing with all the tracks and stuff, I said, right, just leave that to me. If there are certain songs where there's a really heavy bass synth part, I'll take an upper part, whether it's a slap part or something else, and if the definition of that song is defined by a very low bass synth part, you go with that and I'll do an upper part. So then when I started listening to those sounds, it was like, again, I did 2 prototypes of the board where I was putting on, right, I need that. As I was explaining to you with the Source audio pedals, once you start going in and you can change all the parameters on your screen, I suddenly found like I could drop that octave pedal, that can go. I can get rid of that filter, that can go. And suddenly what was like a 20 pedal board became a 10 pedal board. And that's what you saw. So it's that. So that then meant I only had to take 2 basses and that pedal board. So next week we've got the rehearsal for that, so I'm going to do a video this week of building that board and explaining why certain pedals are where they are and what the routing is. And then
I'll look forward to that.
There'll be the gig vlogs for when we do that gig in April. The problem was we did that show in October and it was one show, but we had 3 months to get it together. It was like panic stations. It was like everyone's like, how are we going to do all this? And we did one rehearsal, the first rehearsal, and it was a bit like, need to seriously up the game on the next rehearsal. We did the next one, and I mean, people were literally drained. We looked like costumes of men and women. It was just like completely faced. We did a gig the next day. Everyone was on their knees. It was just like brains about to explode. How are we going to do this? Did another couple of rehearsals, and it then all sort of fell into place. And where people were panicking, I was going, look, everyone's overthinking this. You're trying to do too much too quick. Take it in blocks. So when you're rehearsing at home, just do it decade by decade, and don't try and cram it into one day. Do the 80s on one day, do the 90s on another. And once you start doing things in blocks and you then bolt it all together, it becomes a lot easier. If you try and do it all in one hit, your brain won't cope.
Yeah.
So
we did a candlelit show, our first one back in the end of February, where actually it'd be right up your street, Mike. Actually, it's all the first half's much more sort of deep cut orientated. So and some really cool medleys of things that don't get done very often. So we.
So what songs have you got in those medleys? How does the show differ?
Yeah, the same.
Issue.
We were trying to cram rehearsal in to get this done, and the week leading up to the show, it was kind of like.
Oh, your reception's a bit patchy. Say all that again.
Yeah.
See, I'll just explain to the live chat audience. This is what would happen if I. This is to the live chat audience. This is what would happen if I tried to conduct a live chat while driving to gigs. This is why it doesn't work. This is why we're moving back to Tuesdays. Right. Say all that bit again, Phil. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's the process of learning for a new show. You try and cram things in sound check and try and rehearse bits of material. But we did the show, and right up to the last minute, all the deep cut stuff that we hadn't done before, and all the medleys that we hadn't done before, it was all kind of, we knew it, but actually getting it to hang together right. I think sometimes it just needs to be in front of an audience. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. I mean, even after that first show with Decades of Dance, it was almost like a list of suggestions that cropped up the following week, where everyone in the band went, "That song needs to go before that. We need to ditch that one. That doesn't work." But what sounds good in rehearsal, you don't know until you're in front of an audience. And sometimes you can songs that you think, "Oh, they're going to love this," and it just goes completely dead. And things that you hadn't even thought, "Well, we'll just put that in," and then they go for it, and it's like, right, I need to make more of that and less of that. But that's the joy of doing what we do. You don't know until it's out there in front of a paying audience what's going to work and what isn't.
Yeah.
So how did you curate like this set list that I played last night? How did you get to that? And has it changed a lot since, you know, the band started?
Yeah. Listen, Mike, I think I'm going to have to leave because
No problem. All right, mate. I will see you on Friday. That'll be that then. They've left. That was Phil from Supersonic Queen. I got the gist, Phil. No problem. You guys take it easy. Drive safely. I will see you on Friday. Have a great gig tonight. Enjoy yourselves. Thank you for coming on. How about that? How about that? There you go, guys and girls. My employer last night. There we go. We had a blast. We really did. Oh, I think, is he trying to come back? He might be. He might be coming back for a second go. I can't see your camera. Here we are. He's back.
Sorry about that, guys. It's hi.
That's all right.
Yeah, no, we lost you. We're in patchy
outside broadcast, isn't it?
It is. Taunton, somewhere like that.
Taunton.
Yeah, you said, how do you go back? How do you go about curating the set list?
Yeah.
What, last night or the candlelit one? Last night.
Well,
it evolved over.
My point was how. Sorry, there's a delay on our reception. What I was saying was, how have you curated the band's song list to where it is now, from where it was when we came out of lockdown and the band started?
Well, I think Queen were exceptionally good at creating set lists already. So we had, again, you work from the source material and you know that certain things work dynamically in a particular way. But I think getting in front of audiences and actually finding what works and not being married to a set list is a really good thing. You know, I think it's something where you have to always have the audience in mind. It doesn't matter what you think, it's about what actually works and how it lands. So we try and hit the ground hard to start with a lot of up-tempo things to get the audience engaged and on side. And then once you've earned their trust, you can take them anywhere. You can lead that audience where you want to go. But we're blessed in Supersonic Queen to have the best music to work with. You know, we get a plethora of hits rather than just a handful. So we're sport, really.
That's it. No, I agree. And that's the thing. It's like when I used to do Queen songs in covers bands, they always went down well and what have you. But once you're in front of a Queen audience, you know, none of us will ever be in Queen or be able to replicate what they did. But you know, like I do, when you're out in like a festival audience, big crowd, and you play the big hits, that tidal wave of singing and getting involved and the emotion of it, and it sweeps you along and it will get you through. You could break your leg, you wouldn't feel it because the adrenaline would carry you through. But it's a wonderful thing, and when you experience it, it's like I know before we got lockdown, I decked for an Oasis tribute for 2 months when their bass player had died. And I was never a huge Oasis fan, not my thing. I didn't like all the crap that went with it, but I was appreciative how those songs sat within the British public. And now some of those songs are part of the British tapestry, like Beatles songs, like Rolling Stones songs, like certain Queen songs. And we did a couple of gigs, and I thought, oh yeah, this is all right. Yeah, I'll do this for 2 months. And then we did a bunch of gigs where it was literally, it's ticket sales. It's people that couldn't go to see Oasis were coming to see this band, and really good band.
Yep.
And we did all the O2 academies, like Nottingham, Liverpool, Birmingham, Leicester, Sheffield, and we were doing all those. And I was like, Christ, I hadn't really taken in that effect. To be honest, there are points in the show where the singer doesn't even have to sing. We just play.
Yeah.
And we could do it as a three-piece without a singer, because the crowd know every word and every little nuance, and it's exactly the same with Queen stuff. And I know, obviously, didn't do any Queen stuff until 2019, and then coming out of lockdown, and people wanted to get out gigs, and people were falling over themselves to put on events, and I would do Queen shows. And it's like, I'm really lucky to be doing this. Is like my favourite band. I'm playing those songs. I know these bass lines like the back of my hand, and it does it. It's just like, you get on some gigs, and it's like almost like someone setting a wind machine on you. It's like, my God, it's the way it is. We're very lucky to do it.
Yeah, very much so. Very much so.
Not that sort of wind.
Listen, Mike, I'm going to head off because the reception's patchy.
No problem. All right, my man. You have a great gig. Enjoy yourselves, lads. I'll see you Friday.
Bless you. Thanks so much. Nice to meet you guys.
Take it easy.
I will do. Have a good one, Mike.
Lovely stuff. Take care. There we go. There you go. This the world of tribute bands. That's the life. Sat in a van, going up the motorway to the next gig. Welcome to my world. So yeah, there we are. Phil from Supersonic Queen. I'll be with them again next Friday. So if you're in Wales, if Caerphilly, well, let's go on their website so we can find out where they're playing. Give me a moment. Where are they tonight? They are at That's good. It's not even listed on their website. Right. Nope. It's not that either. Here we go. Just trying to load loads of video. They are in a place called Bedwas. I'm sure I've pronounced that wrong. I don't speak fluent Welsh. Bedwas, wherever that is. I do not know. But Caerphilly, apparently. Let's have a look. It's 12 minutes past 2 here, London town. Live chat 104 here on Brooks's Bass Corner. Well, we're on a live chat. My reception's not great for some reason. Just trying to download where that is. It is Bedwas Workman's Hall and Institute, which is close to. It's giving me a Google map here. Let's have a look. I can't see what that says. Right, let's just stick that in the Google Maps. I'll tell you where it is. Maps, where are you? There. Now then. Oh, blimey. It's, yeah. It's west of Newport. It's very far east of Swansea. And sort of northwest of Cardiff, I think. North of Cardiff in Caerphilly, funnily enough. So yeah, if you want to see Phil and the lads, go and knock yourselves out. They're playing at Bedwas Workman's Hall and Institute tonight. Tickets available, I think. 34 tickets are available. On stage from 8 o'clock. Go and have a good night. They're a lot of fun. That's it, Dave. North of Cardiff. Absolutely. So should be fun. Should be fun. Well, it was last night, but then they had me, so I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah, they got Woody on tonight. Their friend Woody, he's covering the bass end. Then I'll be with them on Friday in Leicester, which I think is a private event. Yeah, and then we're at the Excel Centre in London on April the 2nd. Again, it's a private event. It's a corporate thing. So looking forward to those. And then their bass player comes back from Australia where he's on holiday. Lucky chap. Been a while since I've been to Australia, that's for sure. So it is 2:15. We're going to run for another 15 minutes. Then we're going to wrap this up. And then I'm going to get my backside out the door and head off to the Uncle Funk show up in Ware at the Drill Hall tonight. I've got to remember, Mike, black lycra costume hanging upstairs. Make sure it's in the bag before you go. Otherwise, it's going to be a poor show. So, yes, any further questions? You've got 15 minutes, guys and girls. Got any bass questions? Anything you want to ask? Want to ask anything about the Supersonic Queen show? Or anything about bass in general? Let me know. If I can help, more than happy to do so. You can come on here live. We've got another 14 minutes you've got now. Doesn't look like Mr. Millard's up. He could be. He may have just gone straight to the gym. I think he's forgotten we were doing an early start today. But that's fine. That's fine. If you're watching this after the event, Jamie, have a good day in the gym. I'll catch up with you tomorrow. All good. There we go. So, yeah. So, Uncle Funk tonight. And I've got This Is Queen tomorrow. Different Queen tribute. So, I've got to remember I'm not playing the arrangements I played last night. And we are playing, I think, at Trelawney Manor down in Plymouth. Lou. It's a holiday resort. They've got a 70s weekender. And we're the headline act tomorrow. So if you're there, highly unlikely you're watching my live chat, but I'll say it anyway. If you're there, we will see you tomorrow. I think we're on about 9 o'clock. Should be fun. Looking forward to it. We've got Lee Morris from Magnum on tomorrow on the tubs, which is great. Love playing with Lee. Lee, if you're watching, see you tomorrow, mate. We'll have a blast. We'll actually have some time to chill out and socialise once we're sound checked. We've got a lot of sitting around to do tomorrow, so that's all fine. It's all good. And Dave and Andrea from who still plays with Bon Jovi and Foreigner's Journey. He's on Freddie duties tomorrow, so it's good. We've got a good cast of characters tomorrow. So the only down point is the drive. It's about 230 odd miles, 250 if I go via the M4, and it's a hell of a drive. And although we do have accommodation, I can stay over, but I'm dreading getting caught in rush hour traffic on Monday morning. So we're meant to finish tomorrow around about 10, 10:15. If I get packed up and I have time tomorrow afternoon after sound check for a quick snooze, if I'm feeling suitably rested, I'm going to try and drive home after the gig so that Monday isn't overly impacted. We will see. Oh, I think someone's... What's that? There's an email in there somewhere. Sorry, I thought there was an email coming into the Brooks's Bass Corner email there. I think it might be in one of my other accounts. Okay, maybe not. Maybe not. Manfred, good to see you. Which equipment will you bring to these gigs? Okay, well, last night was Queen, with Supersonic Queen, of course. So it was 2 Fender Precisions, a black Mexican 2018 model, which I've changed the pickup, the bridge, the hardware, tuners on. And there was a Fender FSR 70s bass, which there's a review and demo of here on the channel. Mike, remember to put those links in the description box when you come to do those on Monday. There's the pink bass man. I knew you'd appear. You haven't got much time, mate. I'm going to be out of here in 11 minutes, but I'm happy to bring you to the screen if you wish to do so. And I had, on last night's gig, I had my pedal board, and I also had my Aguilar SL212 cabinet, Aguilar AG700 head, and I was on IEMs. Tonight's Uncle Funk. I'm out the door in 15 minutes. I still don't know which basses I'm going to take. I think the Warwick Boots is coming out. I think the Alembic Persuader's coming out. And I think probably the Status Empathy, because John's coming along. Again, small pedal board tonight. No backline, because we're on IEMs. So that's all cool. And then tomorrow, for the Queen show, it will be the same as I had last night. So all my gears, apart from the guitars, is staying in the car. I can't be bothered unpacking all the amplification. It'll be fine at the gig with me tonight because I'll bring it in. And then my car's pretty much packed in the morning once I'm up, dressed, breakfast, go. So it's 10 a.m. start for me tomorrow. Make sure I get there in time. So that's kind of it. That's the equipment. It's quite simple equipment, really, this weekend. It's nice. I had contemplated taking my Aguilar DB751 and 2 cabinets, but actually last night that would have been overkill. Not entirely convinced I would have had enough floor space for that with all the keys and stuff that we had last night. I may consider taking it tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see, because I don't actually know how big the stage is tomorrow. And sometimes you can get on a big old stage and I just think, I wish I had the 751 and 2 cabs. But again, this is the joy of playing places you've never been to. You just don't know what you're going to get served up. Jamie will be along in a moment. Excellent stuff. Westford, good news. JD Supernatural 3 will be arriving towards the end of 2025. Good for you. Is that an order? Have you placed an order to have one made, or is that a second-hand one? Manfred, having a lot of options sometimes is difficult to decide. Don't I know it? You're telling me. You are telling me. But yeah, with Uncle Funk, it's I can pretty much take whatever I want. It's just what's floating my boat at the time. But the fact I know John's coming tonight, I know Jerry Blair's coming tonight as well. But I want to get the Warwick Bootsy out there, earning its keep. And it's the wow factor when you walk on stage with that and people go, oh! So we'll do that. I'll use the Bootsy on the first set. Probably use the Status Empathy on the second. I might use the Alembic. Who knows? Who knows? Options. That's what these basses give you. Options. And, yeah. And we're going to have a little Brooks's Bass Corner meet-up tonight on the gig, John and Jerry. So it's all good. It's all good. Looking forward to it. I'm going to have blood. I'm so lucky as a player this weekend. 2 Queen gigs with 2 different Queen bands. Great guys in both. And I've got an Uncle Funk show slap bang in the middle. It's like lovely. Lovely. Really is. An enjoyable weekend's work. It's a lot of driving. I could do without the Plymouth journey, but we will enjoy ourselves tomorrow. And this is where the joy of playing with people you enjoy working with comes into its own. The fact that I've got 10 hours of driving to do for that gig tomorrow. But it makes it all worthwhile because of the people you're working with. So it's all good. West Fort, it's an order. Excellent. What colour? What colour? Yeah, I can give you a peek. Well, I'll try and give you a peek. I'm going to take the headphones off. So, right, Warwick Boots is in a bag over there, so I need to go and get that out. So that gives me an excuse to shift it. So it's ready to go in a minute. Bear with me a moment. So for your delectation, I need to take your comment down so people can see it. Hang on. Let me get rid of that banner. Right, the Warwick Bootsy bass. There we go. You want to see it? There you go. There we are. The Bootsy logo in slap bang in the middle. Here he is. So generally I use this for like one set and then I'll swap over to one of the other basses. So usually an LED bass for the second set. that's the Warwick Bootsy bass. You need to get in there. Bear with me a moment, ladies and gents. And then we'll have the Status Empathy, my tonal battering ram. Here we are. If you like that sort of thing. There we go. They look green, they're actually aqua. When you put new batteries in, they go sort of bluey green. Once they start dying off a little, they go green. So that's the Status Empathy. You'll see that, Dave, across hundreds of videos here on the channel. If you tap into the Bass String Experiment, which is a series of videos here on the channel, you'll see that bass. I did 73 gigs with one set of strings on. See how long they'd last, and that was the bass I used it on. So that's the Empathy. And then the other one I'll take, it's got a bit more of a sentimental vibe. So I think on tonight's show we've got Hugh Birkenhead as our depth keyboard player, I think. And for those of you who know, Hugh and I had a mutual friend who passed away. Where's the months going? Probably about 8-9 weeks ago. Is it that long? No, 7 or 8 weeks ago. And I bought this bass off that guy. And the last time Hugh and I did a gig together, we both said, "You seen Nick lately?" And I had this bass with me, and I used it a bit on that gig. And yeah, so I think Hugh is on the gig, so I'm going to bring this, and we can, yeah, I think Hugh's on it. You watched the Bass String Experiment last week. Thank you, Dave. Excellent. Hope you enjoyed it. Manfred, there's Pink Bass Man. I'm going to add you to the stage, but I haven't got my headphones on. Give me 2 seconds. And we'll add you there. Manfred, love it. Oh, hang on. What a show. Just kidding. What a show off. No, it's fine. I don't mind. LEDs are for the eyes aren't what they were. So you're stuck on a stage with a Status with a black neck. You're not going to see anything without LEDs. So I love having LEDs on basses. So my choice, my wallet. That's the way that goes. Phil's still there. Is that Martin Sims's work? Yes, on the Status. Yes, they were retrofitted back in 2002 when prices were a little more affordable. There he is. How you doing? You all right?
I'm wet. It's pouring here like crazy.
It's pouring.
We've got lovely London weather with the exception.
There you go.
With the exception of the swirling winds that get up to about 80.
Sounds delightful.
Oh, it's
Phil,
lovely.
yes, if you want the Bootsy bass for Another One Bites the Dust, I'll bring it. I don't think it'll fit in, though, with the Queen band.
There you
go. Wouldn't see John Deacon playing one of those, that's for sure.
Well, you only saw John Deacon backer one time, too. So.
And a jazz, and a Roger Giffen, and a Wow. Although everyone always thinks he bought the Wow. He didn't. He was borrowing it.
Right.
He was there for a jam, and someone else
Just
had
like
the wall.
Taylor with Duran Duran video in the wall.
Yeah. Again, I think a lot of those different basses were hired in for things.
Agreed.
I certainly don't think. I saw a picture of him the other day with a Gibson Ripper.
Oh, yes.
And I've never seen that. So I think it was a TV performance in Europe, and that obviously was the hired-in bass.
Indeed.
Yeah. So what's the news?
Well, let's see. First off, good afternoon, everyone. Good
afternoon.
Yes. Yeah. Wow. Well, let's see. News. Well, let's see. I right face this morning. That's well done. So we've already been through all the Bosch this morning. All good.
Excellent.
Yeah, so just to give you an idea, I don't normally do this, but this is what we look like right now.
Oh dear. Yeah, you've got London weather.
Yeah, we'll see. It started last night, and the thunder was cracking on so loud the house shook. one
There
of
you
those
go.
in the southern common. Yeah, southeastern is quite common at this time. We're just going to go about business. Oh well.
Well, I've got Uncle Funk show to go to very shortly.
Lovely.
That's my day, and then tomorrow Plymouth with another Queen band. So it's all go. It's all go this week. And I said last week this week would be mental, and that's
Right.
exactly how it's panning out. So it's all good. I saw some further pictures of someone's collection last night.
Oh
There
yeah.
was a load of stuff I thought had long since moved on. I didn't know there was still more stuff. So Mr. Reese is going to be cataloguing some of this apparently.
Okay.
The pedals have been uncovered.
Oh wow. Okay,
Apparently there's a lot. There's a
I'm
lot.
sure.
So I've asked him if when you're next there doing this, some pictures of that would be helpful.
Love.
And there was if there's some things in there. Have you heard they found the power supply for the Alembic?
Oh great. I had not heard. That's wonderful.
Yeah, it was found in a box that had loads and loads of other stuff all plonked on top. Now, why that wasn't kept in close proximity, I don't know. But anyway, at least they found it. So now, really just waiting on Alembic to provide provenance. So I found also online was the interview that he did for the Guitar Magazine.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, there's no serial number on that bass. So the only people that can provide any provenance are Alembic based on, I guess, database and photographic records, if
Right.
they've got any.
Yeah.
It can't be anything else. It is what it is, but it's just, was it an Entwistle or not?
Right. Right. With no
And the fact,
question.
say again?
No serial number.
See, to me, that says that it is definitely an Entwistle because they probably made basses for him without serial numbers. They
Right.
just make them and he'd pay the money and do.
Well, yeah, I've had JD, but because Mike Diggins would tell me that John would make bass for people sometimes, and they'd be special, and there'd be no serial number, so there's no record of it, even though I'm holding it in my hand.
Mm.
Yeah.
The only thing they might have on their system is like a shipping carnet or something,
Right.
or a shipping order.
Right.
But yes, so thankfully the power supply has been found. Obviously, the original hard case is long gone wherever that would have ended up. So it's just a case of waiting for Alembic to get back, and then
Fair enough.
I still suggest putting it on a 20% commission sale with one of the retailers and tapping into their database. I think trying to sell it through either an independent auction house or just putting it out there, you're not going to maximize it. So
No. You need somebody who is completely in the market and savvy on all this information.
Yeah, that's why I think tapping into possibly one of the base retailers here in the UK, you're going to get the ideal customer and you're going to maximize what the value of that is. It's a one-time sale. You got to get it right. You don't get a second run up. So
yeah, you're going to do it once, do it the best you can, get what you can for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
simple enough.
Yeah, we'll see how this all pans out.
Right.
We'll see. But anyway, we'll stay in the loop. I've got to head off. I've got to get myself cracking. Mate, you have a great day. Enjoy your day. Travel safely. Speak to you tomorrow.
Cheers.
All right. And see you on next week's live chat. Back to 2:00 next week.
Dealio.
All right. See you later.
Cheers,
have
man.
a good day, mate. Take it easy.
Yeah.
Right. Boys and girls, thank you ever so much for a lovely live chat. It's been a pleasure. Phil, thank you for coming on. Jamie, thank you for coming on. Guys, for the super chats. Amazing, outstanding. Thank you so much. It is coming up 25 to 3 here in London town. This was live chat 104 here on Brooks's Bass Corner. Next Saturday, we'll be back to 2:00, regular slot. We've only got 2 more Saturday live chats, and then we're back to the Tuesdays. Have a great week. Enjoy your bass playing. If you're out gigging, you're out traveling, take it easy. Look after yourself. Be careful. There are idiots on the road. Drive carefully. All right, especially if you're driving through the night back from a gig, you feel a bit tired, pull over, have a snooze. Don't drive tired, Okay. And like I say, there are idiots on the road. I'm well aware of all. I do this every week. So be careful if you're out in your travels. I'm off to do Uncle Funk in Ware. I'm going to see Jerry Blair, see John Cooper. We'll report back a convening of the Brooks's Base Corner Union. Tomorrow, Queen in Plymouth. Videos up this week. Got another Queen gig next Friday. Then we got live chat Saturday. So have a great week, everyone. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your bass playing. If you need me for anything, you can email me, brooks'sbasscorner@gmail.com, or catch me on the social media. We'll see you next Saturday. Different time, same place. We'll go through it all again. Hopefully loads of new videos up for you. If you've got any questions at any point, even if it's not when we're on live chat, if you suddenly need an answer to something, email me. If I see it, I'll try and come back to you as soon as I can. Thank you for all the affiliate sales, merch sales. Please give the video a thumbs up. Please give any video here on the channel a thumbs up. Please leave comments and please share out to your social media. Thumbs ups are the biggest thing you can do to help me, help the videos, and help the channel. I really appreciate it. Can't do it without you. Love your bones. Take it easy, gang. Have a great weekend. See you soon. Take it easy.